Let me track this.
We're live.
Hi! Did it again.
There we go.
Yeah.
The show has begun. Painkiller already. Episode 185. This week sponsored by Dollar Shave Club. Yeah, boy.
Mm-hmm. You want to shave your face. Everybody wants to shave their face.
Look at how handsome
are
Lefty
expensive.
is right now.
Yeah.
I know, right?
that.
As soon as
Look at
this
that.
call started, I was like, Lefty's looking sharp.
He said look at that.
Dollar Shave Club face right here. This
And
is
look
the
at
face
me.
for Dollar
Look
Shave
what a
Club.
wreck I am. I think I'm like 50 years older and scruffy and perhaps ready to beg on the streets. I think I'm going to shave on the show.
I think you do. With
Yeah.
your Dollar Shave Club razors, your the three different tiers they have available for you to fit all different price ranges, and you don't want to go to your local supermarket and buy blades anymore because it's really expensive. Get
Why
it from
would
Dollar
you?
Shave Club.
The whole mailed marketing way of buying stuff is totally my preference, right? I buy a lot of stuff through Amazon. I've mentioned this before. I'll need a 9-volt battery. They sell 9-volt batteries a block from my house, but it will take 7 days, 12 days, 19 days, who knows, before I actually get out of this chair and go to the drugstore. Yet I
Or
can
you can
order
click a
something.
button and have one in a day.
Or I can order it on Amazon or something, and it just comes overnight. And Dollar Shave Club, that stuff rolls in.
That's
So
the
there's a
future.
link in the description. You got to click that to dollarshaveclub.com / what is it? PKA?
That's right.
Is it /
We're
PKA?
Painkiller already.
Dollarshaveclub.com
I'll be sure to get the link
/PKA.
right in the description, and we'll be all set.
And,
Go check
and
it out,
One White
seriously.
Charlies.
If you use razors for shaving anything, you're probably paying too much. You want to go check this out. I guarantee it's a deal that you'll be interested in.
It's the way to go. Enough of this. We won't even say like the G word, but they're overpriced and they're not as good. Dollar Shave Club. Wham. Click on that link. Do it. We're measured by that.
Yeah, I used to shave my balls with those Walmart razors, and then
You don't want
I'd get dab it with some alcohol or something and just be screaming. Those
This
things
isn't
be
widely
blowing.
known. He actually lost one nut because he used the wrong razor. He replaced it
some
with
of
a
it.
plastic one, and all his friends call him Ping Pong now.
You know what they call it? It's a nudicle. It's they usually make them for dogs.
Mm-hmm.
After you boost your dog's self-esteem. And I was like, that's not too expensive. I don't have health insurance, so I just went right on down to the vet's office. He hooked me right up. $200, got a brand new one. I could have saved that $200. Could have spent it on Dollar Shave Club. Had both testicles,
He's
been
set for
fully
life.
fertile, and been set for life. But no, don't be like me. Go to DollarShaveClub.com.
Don't be like our friend
/PKA.
Ping Pong.
It's just Ping now.
Just Ping.
Just Ping.
Go over there, get yourself some shave butter, some One Wipe Charlies too, and you get yourself outfitted with Dollar Shave Club.
I
So
can't
go-
vouch for this One Wipe Charlie's just yet.
I can.
Oh,
Though-
really?
You can?
Yes, I have tested the One Wipe Charlies now. It's for me, so it's strong. You know, there's like cheap paper towels and good paper towels. These are stronger than good paper towels. They're almost like cloth. If you rip them, they sound like cloth. I might even grab one and rip it for you. But what happened? I don't one wipe. I wipe and then I fold, putting the poo in the middle, and then I have essentially a clean surface. You repeat that process maybe 2 times, 3 times, and you have a bottom that is suitable for unspeakable things.
Wow.
There you
Yep.
go.
Okay.
You go until nothing returns. You go until there's a negative return on the.
Wipe it till it's white. That's my motto.
Have you ever had a flawless victory? When was your last flawless victory? by
They're all
chance?
flawless victory. Like it's wipe it. It's it. You
No,
only
but
win.
a flawless victory is where you wipe. Now, there's two kinds of flawless victories. It's when you wipe and you realize on the first wipe that you didn't have to wipe.
Oh,
That's a flawless victory. Then there's the really ballsy flawless victory where you just assume.
You just know. You can tell. You can tell. You can
just get
tell.
up.
I
You
wish
just
I
like
was wired
consistency
like
and
that.
feel.
No, I can't recall a flawless victory.
couldn't do it.
But I will say this:
Work on your diet.
if you use regular toilet paper and you wipe it till it's white, you run the risk of wipe it till it's red, right?
Yeah.
But if you use like a One Wipe Charlie, then it's just so much more tender on your tushy. It's the way you want to go.
Yeah. You gotta stop eating pizza for breakfast, and you'll start having some.
I didn't have pizza for breakfast.
If you say so.
You're thinking of the Wings of Redemption video.
Oh, why is he? That's right.
Yeah.
Why did Kyle attribute that to Woody?
I don't know.
I don't know. I was just thinking about poor diet, I guess, and how
I
that
still
could
think
affect.
about wings. I watch like 90% of his videos, I think, especially if they're a vlog. If it's
Yes.
gameplay, I may or may not. If it's a vlog, I don't miss them. As in, I always see them.
I'll tell you what, I'm really feeling for Bastard Brooke over there. Despite, I think I'm less forgiving of someone that Bastard Brooke stole from Gangster Grandma. Like, we all know that happened. But I figured he's probably in a hard spot. The guy's got an addiction problem. He's an alcoholic. So, I could let that go and everything, I guess. And it looks like Bastard Brooke's not doing well.
No,
At all.
that's slowly approaching death right
Yeah,
there.
that's-
That is
it's
even not
jaundice,
slowly
right?
approaching death.
I hate
death.
to use the D word,
that
but
what it is?
Wings did. Wings said that he was.
I don't. Yeah. That was the kind of the discussion that we'd had. It's a shame, you don't like to see somebody go, especially like that. It's called jaundice, right? When your liver's failing and your eyes turn yellow and all that stuff.
I believe so,
And
yes.
I don't know much about this, but apparently the swelling in his foot is related to the drinking. Does anyone know anything about this?
I'm Googling, of course.
Well, his liver
PK
he's
effect.
destroyed his liver with the alcohol, and the liver's your body's toxin filter, so it's not filtering those toxins anymore. They're just remaining in his bloodstream and not being removed, and they're building up over time, and that's why his feet are swelling. That's why his eyes are yellow, and that's why he's having those cold chills and tons of other things. Blood dialysis is an effective treatment for that. It's not a cure; it's a treatment that you just have to go forever. And I don't know why he's not receiving that. I've seen in third world countries where guys make at home dialysis kits, like with stuff you could buy offline. But that would be a good video.
Yeah, that's a great video. As a matter of fact, since you mentioned, I'm just getting into budget dialysis now. I'll do it for half price. How much is dialysis? Like 50 grand?
There you
25
go.
grand.
Rebrand your channel DYI Medical stuff.
25 grand. You can come on over to the Gamertag house. We'll whip up a little DIY or DIY.
Do it yourself blood transfusions.
A little do-it-yourself
pancreas
dialysis.
removal.
This went to a dark place. I did not want to go.
Kyle kicked us off with do-it-yourself vasectomies. He talks about that already. So
Yeah.
But it was a botched job. I only got it half done.
I think it's cirrhosis. I think this is what we're talking about is cirrhosis. Swollen feet, swollen abdomen, confusion. Well, progressive memory loss. Well, difficulty sleeping during the night.
Some of these
yellow
I
eyes
have.
and/or
So my grandfather died.
Like progressive memory loss, confusion. This is hitting close to home.
passing blood, purple or black bowel movements. Apparently, when you drink wine, if you heavily drink wine, anybody, that the next day you might think you have liver cirrhosis. You don't, but you think you do.
Beets might think all kinds of things are fucked up. Take it from me. If you eat beets at dinner that morning, you'd be like, "Why the fuck is my shit purple?"
They used to make ketchup in green. They used to make green ketchup, and you remember that and it was just dyed. Okay, like I'm not. It's not like they use green tomatoes to make green ketchup. They just put a bunch of dye in it for kids, and it was kind of cool. Until the next day, and you're like, I'm not eating any more of that green ketchup, man. This is freaking. Nah, I'm done with the green ketchup. Not worth it.
So yeah. Anyway,
seriously though, I hope Bastard Brooke, turns his health around. Hope it's not as bad as it seems, and it's a shame. But like I said, my grandfather died of cirrhosis of the liver at 35 years old. He deserved it, but.
Right, but I mean, at some point, don't you feel bad for somebody because it's like a progressive thing. I mean, at some point, abusing alcohol becomes a habitual, chronic. You just have to abuse alcohol, and it's just the way it is.
Of course, it's you don't catch cirrhosis of the liver from a toilet seat. You don't get it from sharing a glass with someone. You get it from a lifelong alcohol abuse situation.
And that abuse isn't always in your control, and that's sad. I've abused alcohol before. It's not a fun place to be.
I knew it. See, you said you didn't, and I was
what
like,
do you mean? No. I'm not an alcohol abuser now. But
not the second.
Okay, well, we need to define terms here because if you define binge drinking as alcohol abuse, then 75% of college students everywhere are alcohol abusers.
I'm just saying,
and if you're fine with
asked,
that,
if you had alcohol issues, you said no.
I thought that question was in the current context.
Well,
if you said, "Have you ever?" Then, yeah, I mean, of course, yeah.
I'm just teasing with you. I know you don't like to talk about your alcohol days.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I think we
No.
all abuse certain things every now and then. I mean, you can abuse ice cream. You can abuse any number of things.
Yeah, it was to the point the abuse. I wasn't having a beer in the morning like Andy said. You know, Andy's story of alcohol abuse. I wasn't to that point, but I was on that road, and I think a stop on the road from Woody.
I was going to say, for people who know, Andy is the raging Korean. You probably remember him. He lives with Joe Lozon. He's a fighter. Actually, just won his fight. That's Andy.
Yeah, the video of that's on his channel, on his YouTube channel, by the way.
I watched
Yeah, he posted
it
to the PK subreddit. Kick that guy's ass.
It yeah, he did. I mean, clearly he knocked him out in the first round. I thought prior to him knocking him out in the first round, according to my amateur eyes, I would give him the edge in the stand-up, but, you know, it was a game. And then he caught him with what, I don't know if it was an elbow or a punch. It looks so much like a punch, but I haven't seen it like in slow-mo. He might have thrown it and just followed with the elbow like Weidman did to Munoz. But, yeah, anyway, he found his opportunity. If you spend enough time doing stand-up, I'm talking about him, not me, of course. But if you spend enough time doing stand-up, you like spot that hole in a split second, and he did, and he capitalized and knockout victory.
By the way, if I can interject really quick, whoever's producing the video for that MMA outlet, can you please, I'm sure, because you've got multiple cameras, you know what you're doing, can we please go to 16:9? It's 2014. We need to make the move to 16:9. I think it would benefit everybody. Your production values would skyrocket. You've already got great commentators who clearly know MMA, and I learned a lot from watching this. But just the weird aspect ratio, and it looked like it was scrunched. Not a fan. But anyway,
yeah,
Andy abused alcohol.
Their audio was great. Their video was not. I don't know.
The audio was very good.
Since we're sort of straddling on a little bit of UFC talk, do you want to discuss the fact that Joe Lozon's got himself a new fight coming up soon?
He does. So Joe's fight, I have September 9th in my head. Does that sound right to everyone else?
Sometime in September. I don't know the exact date.
Yeah, is it Foxwoods? Is that where it is? It's nearby. I should have looked this up, but you're ahead of me now. My keyboard's louder than yours.
I'm on the UFC fight. Oh, September 5th.
And what's this gentleman's name?
Michael. Hold on.
Mike
Chiesa? Something like that. Yeah, his next victim is what we're looking for. Michael Chiesa, I think. Dude, I've said this to Joe before in private. I hate to say it in public. Every opponent scares me. It doesn't matter who it is. It's just the way I'm wired. I do the same thing with my own business, my own YouTube channel, etc. Like people ask me like why I work so hard. It's because I'm anxiety driven. Like I'm always concerned about the failure, the next big threat, the next big weakness, and I'm addressing it. Whenever I hear Joe fights a guy, if he's a guy where Joe is going to be heavily favored, and I think Joe's heavily favored in this fight, I think, oh my God, what happens if he loses? If he's a guy where Joe's the underdog, I think, oh my God, how's Joe going to do this? And
that's the name of the game. That's the name of the game in the UFC. This isn't baseball where we'll get him again tomorrow, or maybe it's even a doubleheader. We'll get him again in 30 minutes. You know, you fight two times a year as an active fighter. You know, there's some wild men out there fighting 3 or 4 times, but that's a rare thing. You lose a fight, you lost a fight, and if you lose to a good opponent, then it meant that you lost an opportunity. If you lose to a bad opponent, then it means you slip a little bit in the standings, you know, and in public opinion and the opinion of the UFC. It's a loss is bad no matter what.
So
I will say this though, his loss that was voted the best fight of the year, that may be the exception to the rule.
Might be. So Kyle and I went to this event in Boston, and we had really good seats. Like, you know, we don't go to a lot of events, so I was like, let's just splurge and get, you know, great seats. And you could see the fighters as they came in and out, like their expressions and their like how things were going. And it was crazy because every fighter who entered that ring thought he was going to win, all of them. And like they're just jazzed, they're excited. They've been focusing on this for so hard and so long that it's their big opportunity, and now's the moment. And then
they got a team of guys around them pumping them up for that
team of guys,
6 weeks, 6 months, whatever as well.
Right, and then the cut man goes and they Vaseline their face and stuff so they don't get cut, and they're going in, and Bruce Buffer, you know, announces them, and they get so jazzed, and we're close enough that you can see all this. You can see like the energy that comes from these guys and the hope and what they're about to do for themselves, and there aren't many people who have this much on the line in 10 minutes of their life, right? There's only a few people who like where 10 minutes, or it's 15 if you go the whole distance, means so much, right? You know, your career as a programmer or accountant is a million little victories. You know, your career as a high school or college student is a million little things. These guys, their lives can hinge on the next 15 minutes. And you see the guys that leave and they're kind of relieved, and you see the guys that lose and they are so heartbroken. It matters so much. It's if you ever go to a UFC event and you can get great seats, you see it at a different level.
Yeah, you're definitely paying for the experience, and you're definitely getting it. Although I'll say this, it's nice to be there live, but man, TV coverage is just so good. Like, you're never going to get the seat that's literally in the ring sometimes, you know, with those cameras just peeking right over into the cage. That's the best seat in the house.
Right, and you don't get slow motion close-ups and breakdown of what's going on.
And you're not in the comfort of your home with your pizza, all that stuff.
So you see the fight better, I think, on TV, but you see definitely what I was talking about. You see the loser better in real life. Like, they don't really show the losers walking out of the cage. Like, that's
also, it's a different experience because where Woody and I were sitting, as the fighters entered the arena, they sort of passed very near us. You know, I could have hit them with a rock, and you know, you got a real concept of how big these guys are. And as the different weight classes came up, you know, at first I was like, wow, all these guys are big guys. You know, the 155 guys are still big guys, and then the real big guys. Chael Sonnen came out, and the guy he was fighting was even bigger than him. Maybe Bigfoot Silva. Oh, was it? What? Okay. Yeah. But they're just enormous, and when you see them in real life, you get a sense of that. And then I remember Dana White he kind of came up into our row a little bit.
He's like 5 feet somebody. Yeah. When I saw Joe fight in Tokyo, and apparently I'm his bad luck charm, but when I saw Joe fight in Tokyo, I sat in the friends and family section because there weren't as many people traveling with Joe. Like, Joe's from Boston, so when he was in Boston, he had tons of like real friends and family. But when he was in Tokyo, that was me. So after the fighters fought, they would come and they would sit by me, and that was really interesting too. Like, you know, the fighters' like wives and brothers and stuff were sitting with me, and then after they did their fight, they'd come and I say join me. They're not really joining me. They're joining their family, and it was like, holy smokes, you know, like, that's Frankie Edgar right there. That's this, that's that, and it was interesting to see like the fighters just sit down and chill with the audience afterwards.
So this poor guy that Joe's gonna kick the shit out of, he's like 6'1". He's 155, but he's 6'1".
That's big. He won the Ultimate Fighter season 15, I think, and he's 4-1 since then. And he's no Joe Lozon, but everyone in the UFC is tough.
Yeah, that's true. There aren't any easy fights necessarily.
So if Joe beats this guy September 5th, then I'm gonna guess the PKA survival trip will be something like September 19th.
You mean when Joe beats this guy, right?
Well, why would they be in conjunction? How do they relate to one another?
I think Joe said something like 2 weeks to recover from the fight. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and I thought we had said something about like headed north for the next trip, but given that it's like in mid or maybe even late September, I think we should do south. We could do North Carolina again. We could do Georgia.
So it's going to be we're going to do a survival trip, like, you know, living off the land type thing, hunting. Is that
like we did before? But this time,
okay. But this time I won't almost die.
Well, hopefully that's the plan, not necessarily.
Oh, Jackie comes in with that device. I was like, what is that? I thought she was armed.
She's caulking.
Jackie's caulking.
Dude, so. All right. Oh man, I can't dog her on. Look, Jackie's wonderful, wonderful. Like, you, professional, great. I will say this though. Early in our marriage, we would sometimes argue about like the cleanliness state of the house, right? You know, like to me, it was like, I didn't make that mess. I shouldn't clean that mess. That was like my line of thinking. And, you know, I'd see like a messy room and she'd be like, well, your shoes are all over the place. No, like, by the very nature of shoes, they can really only be two. You know, like, you know, if this room was clean, other than that, It would be a clean room, but it's not. So eventually, as I learned to be a married person, it was like, you know what? You can either argue about this every day, clean it yourself, or just accept that she has all these great characteristics, and this one, like cleanliness, this is not her cup of tea. So that's what I did. And her mother is coming to visit on Tuesday. And her mother doesn't really know this, that Jackie doesn't keep that. So whenever she comes to visit, she lives like 500 miles away, so it's not all the time. Hey, honey.
I was hoping you wouldn't see her.
Jackie cleans extra. So
Cock his mouth shut. Cock his mouth shut, just so he doesn't.
Offend your all right. Do you want to mic up?
Well, apparently I have to.
Go ahead, mic up.
She has to defend her honor. Yeah, she can't just.
There you go. This is a new thing, right? Look at the audio quality we bring here.
Okay.
So it seems that not only does Jackie bring junk food and try to poison Woody's body, but also can't even straighten up around the house.
Yes. So
What is it you do with your days, Jackie?
Nothing. I learned early on in our marriage that you weren't going to fix anything.
I don't know what you're talking
or
about.
take out the trash.
No, not ringing a bell.
What are you talking about? I heard about this early on in our marriage. We could argue about these things. But, I just had to let these things go.
We all have our strengths and weaknesses, right, baby?
Yeah. So you were talking trash about me, and I was right outside your door? Why didn't you just wait till you hear me go down the stairs?
That didn't happen.
Seriously, I don't even know what's wrong with you. Why didn't you wait till I went down the stairs?
Because it's fun. Look how well it worked out. Now you're here.
I can't believe I've got caulk all over my hands.
Yeah, I need to take off this So Jackie's mom is coming, and she's preparing the house.
Why is he laughing?
Because caulk sounds a lot like cock.
Later.
It must be my Jersey
After
accent.
the show.
I really do. Wait.
So now Jackie is. What is the caulk for? Is it for dog scratches or something?
No, the baseboards.
You're caulking the baseboards?
Well, they pulled away after I cleaned them. They pulled away from the wall, so I just see where the crack is, and I just was fixing them.
But shouldn't you nail that up with a?
No, I think they do caulk around baseboards because the wall isn't perfect, so you just caulk the gap.
It's just a little gap.
I thought that was a finish nail job. I didn't think it would be called.
Yeah, I would think finish nail, maybe with one of those special things that shoots the nail in at a very sharp angle, so that's. I know I've used those putting hardwood flooring down.
See, this is not my area of expertise.
I think she's right, though.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, clearly you finish nail the molding
Right.
to the wall, but if the wall's not straight, if there's a little gap or something, you caulk that gap. I think you do it with crown molding as well.
I'm using caulk for everything. He's still laughing.
She likes
Let the woman
caulk.
let the woman have fun with her caulk.
Yeah, that's been my motto, and it's worked this far.
I'm trying not to make any cock jokes.
When she said I have caulk all over my hands, I just lost it. I too was trying to hold my tongue, but I just couldn't. I couldn't not make any.
It just
lewd-
deteriorated
From time
so
to time.
quickly, this conversation, and it was all about working on your home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she's the home is looking great. I swear I have advice for her, and I know it won't be well received.
What?
See,
What advice?
Here's what I'm
about
thinking.
what does your advice center?
I feel like sometimes when Jackie cleans or preps for her mom to come or something, you even know what's coming, don't you? First things first, right? This is the big advice. We might have so do you know the hex bugs that bounce around? And you probably don't. Picture Matchbox cars on a track. They're essentially the same sort of toy.
Yeah.
We might
Make
have
a point. Make a point.
we might have a 6 square foot toy on the dining room floor, and she's caulking molding.
I don't have that. I don't know what you're talking
You
about.
do in the dining room, the hex toys. Did you put that away?
I did.
Okay.
In your face. So what have you done?
So let's see. I woke up today. We demoed a new game mode that nobody knows
No, I meant
about.
to help me out.
Then what did I do after that? I made a video, and then we did the Factions Ice Reset event.
Did you watch any television today?
No.
Really?
Oh, during lunch?
Really? You took a lunch break.
Yes.
I didn't take a lunch break today.
I had to feed myself. It was.
Whoa. Did I come home with lunch for you?
You came home with the sandwich for you that you were going to give me a part of.
Because I thought you wanted to cut back on overeating.
Wow. Way to call me out on Painkiller already.
Wow.
Thanks, baby. Isn't she great? Don't you all want one just like
And
her?
plus it was 2 o'clock.
Competent and unsupportive. Wow.
I was like 2
You know, to be fair, Jackie, it's not his mother coming over. I mean,
Well,
he's not creating the need for this cleaning.
Yeah, and I've never understood. I thought this only happened in like sitcoms and Ben Stiller movies. Like, is there really a concern that the mother's going to come over and judge the house unworthy?
No. She would never. You just shook your head, yes?
Is she the type who's going to break out like the white gloves and like look for some dust in the corner or something? Like
No, I wouldn't say
cobweb
that.
and call
She
it out?
actually cleans. Jackie,
does
what's your
clean.
nickname for your mom?
No, we're not telling
Dustbuster.
They're not telling that nickname again.
What is it?
We've done it already.
It might be slightly racist.
Yes.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Oh, well, now I really want to hear.
You guys can be the judge. I might be spelling it wrong.
Let's see.
Let's go phonetically. I'm sure of. Oh.
Oh.
You want me clean the bathroom? Consuela can make this happen.
No,
need
she's
more
really
lemon
good, and
pledge.
she helps out.
Is she 74 yet?
No, in 2 weeks.
It cracks
So
me up.
correct me if I'm wrong. Is the concern that you don't want her to come over and have anything that she could possibly even do? You don't want to see her like, oh, let me just straighten this up. You want her to be able to enjoy her visit. Is that it?
No. My niece has asthma, so I want to get as much dust out of the house as I possibly can.
That's a part of the thing. That's
and-
partly why she's focused on something. Like, she cleaned the dust off the top of the kitchen cabinets.
Yes.
And I was like, but aren't there other things that like would make a bigger impact? But now
So I guess
right.
Woody went around and changed all the filters and AC units to.
I did.
You did
I
change
did.
the filter. I had Colin come and ask him to do it because if Colin asks, it gets done.
It gets done. Yeah, he's so sweet.
The other thing, wait, I lost my train of thought. It's been such a long day. I have
There's
to
a
get
lot
up
of switches
at
on
5.
that track.
Oh my God. No,
So
the other thing is that we just finished with Colin's schooling. So we had our week at the beach, or our time at the beach, and then we got back, and I've been cleaning ever since. So I haven't had a chance to really super clean the house and wash. What? You're telling me I had time?
No,
I can't believe you looked at me like that.
that look was.
Oh my God. I'm going to smack you 6 ways to Sunday, boy.
Otherwise, you would have super clean. Like on a normal basis, you would clean the top of the kitchen cabinets.
I would have thought about it.
Right.
Well, you're a pain in the ass. You know that.
So when she comes out, do you get to hear a lot about what ex-boyfriends are up to? Like if they're like, oh, you could have been.
No. There were no ex-boyfriends before him. Well, that's the story I'm going with.
We met at 19 though, so it's not like she had like serious relationships or anything. Like
Right,
there's no
right.
one that got away really. They were kids.
Yes. No.
Well, to her, but I mean, to her mom, maybe it might be, a whole. Well, I've been.
No.
What
need this-
did used to happen, I think, is that I'd be compared to Jackie's friends' husbands.
Ooh.
Right? Like
Okay, to some
this guy's
extent.
doing this guy's doing that. But
That's
now I think I'm doing pretty well in those comparisons. And
Yeah,
you'll hear
yeah.
about them.
You should bring them up. You should ask her, how's Richard doing? Is he
Right.
things going well for him? Really? That's
Yeah.
a shame for Richard. Maybe I can help him out in this hard time.
So how do you feel about Steven? Oh, right, he's back in the hospital for that, huh? Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not one to
this
feel
is
good
true.
about. Christ.
Yeah,
That's not even a real one. I didn't want to use real
What is it?
examples
I know.
because
What is it, leukemia?
then they know
Oh,
who I was
that
talking
sucks.
about.
Yeah, fair enough.
But,
No.
but we're going to be busy running around. Colin wants to take her to meet all his parkour friends. He's really upset that Hope's boyfriend won't be around to meet him.
Oh,
To
Colin
meet my
is.
mom. Yeah, and
He's going to nationals for fencing.
yes, and he is worried that they'll get lost. When they're gone. So he's really upset about that.
That Jack will get lost?
Yeah,
I think he'll find his way.
I think he will. So that's what I'm doing.
So anyway, moral of the story is Jack is finally cleaning.
That's great.
Finally cleaning. I cannot believe you just did that again.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What time does she arrive tomorrow?
Tuesday, right?
No, she hasn't reached until
You've
Tuesday.
got days?
Mm-hmm.
Well, tomorrow I have to
Wow,
take
you
Hope
are-
to a fencing tournament, which
There's
lasts all
days
day.
of work to get done.
Would you
Is this
stop?
coming through your headset?
Yes. Okay, so what do you have to do before Mom comes? Glue the steps that are broken.
He's got a reset on WoodyCraft. That he's got. They're debuting a new game mode.
A new game mode where we've got 2 new game modes in production. We have a new lobby in production. We have a Factions Ice reset that happens tomorrow. So if you're interested, tomorrow, I think it's at 6 or something. You have a fresh start on
Wait,
Ice.
is that tomorrow or isn't this airing tomorrow?
Oh, so today for you guys at 6 p.m. The event will end and the new Ice will start up.
Is there anything else you have to do around here?
Around here,
Like
I've got most of
glue?
my work done.
Like you have to glue that piece of wood?
To glue a piece of wood.
Maybe the
And-
dogs need some sort of special treatment so they're not dusty.
Yeah, take him to a PetSmart. Except
Yeah, they need baths at the very least. Maybe a good brushing.
Go ahead.
Pet
Not
dander.
Jack, though. He might kill somebody.
Actually, that's probably a smart idea if she's asthmatic.
Are you going to wash the dogs?
Yeah, Buddy in particular.
You're not going to wash the dogs.
I will. I've offered to wash him several times, and you're just like, yeah, no, now's not a good
Everybody,
time.
when you're watching this show, don't be afraid to remind Woody on Twitter to wash the dogs. Before
Oh, yeah.
What did you just do to
And
me?
fix all
At Woody's Gamertag, make sure he knows to wash the dogs.
no!
Make sure he knows and remember.
Hey, it's Dollar Shave Club sponsor. I'm just saying.
I will kill you. I have so much to do.
I'm just joking. I was gonna shave myself. Maybe Hitler mustache.
Again, I will kill you. I can't believe you're just picking on
That would be
left and
hilarious
right.
for when your mother-in-law got there if you had the Hitler and no
Oh my
one
God.
spoke of it.
Just make no mention of it.
Make no mention of it. And maybe okay, but do some sort of Nazi-esque kind of things that like maybe goose step randomly, with the high
What
knees
is
just
it,
kind of
goose step?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
their march
yeah,
with the straight knees.
But they called it a goose step?
Yeah, you didn't know that. He's right. Goose step is
I'm
the.
sure he's right.
Is the
I just-
Nazi march? Yeah, Lefty, back us up.
Yeah.
If I could do it, yeah, I would. I would say.
Wait
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
minute,
if you could
but
get out of
that's
a wheelchair.
What it's called?
Yeah.
And like maybe every time you point something out to her, you use the Nazi salute. Like she's like, oh, where's that at? Oh, right over there. And
Yeah,
the
right.
Nazi salute.
What time is it? Oh, the clock is right there. Set
Or
it up.
if you drop something in the kitchen and you swear in German, like "Ah, Scheiße!" and then
These are great ideas, but make no mention of it all the time.
Yes, right. Because she wouldn't ask you
she's
flat
like,
out.
Yeah.
What is reminding me a bit of a Nazi? And Jack is like, no, Mom, just calm down. They're National Socialists.
It's about states' rights, Mom.
See, I don't know if she would even say anything about, like, she might ask what's
What?
going on. She would say what's going on. What is he doing? But I don't know what she would say if you did that.
She's not shy about speaking up.
No, she's not shy.
She's not. It's.
She'd certainly say something to you.
Yep.
so you goose step over to the counter, and then you just ask, like, if she's sitting at the counter, you goose step over there, lean down, and then say, "So, what are all of Jackie's friends' husbands up to? Are they goose stepping? I don't think they're goose stepping. I'm goose
What are
stepping."
you been working on, Woody? Oh, a little project I like to call the final solution.
I can't believe you told
I
the
have a-
entire world that I don't clean.
No, just a small portion of the world watches this video.
Yeah, the world's like 7 billion people.
Yeah, there's lots of people that aren't watching this at all.
I thought we had a rule.
Oh,
He breaks the rule all the time.
So,
What's the rule?
I don't make her look bad in public.
Yeah.
Well, you're not in public. You're in the privacy of your own home.
Yeah, it's just the two
Right.
of us.
It's just the,
Yeah.
It
the
will
four
only
of
be
us.
public when
and
he uploads it
apparently
to YouTube.
Captain America over here.
I prefer Steven Rogers or Cap.
Okay. Cap.
Cap. I have another topic.
Let's
I
hear
was
it.
talking to Jackie about how I have an interest in Adderall. Afraid, but an interest in
God.
it. I got this. I got a text message
From
someone who got my.
who had our phone number?
Hmm.
Okay.
Wait.
A dealer of Adderall?
Please, Woody, please don't buy Adderall from somebody that just randomly text
I
messaged
don't think
you.
that's what he's.
Please don't do that.
So let me just proofread this and not give out his identity in any way. Kyle brought up taking Adderall. I've been taking it for 3 months. It changed my life for the better. No addiction, just motivation, energy, and increased water drinking. You want to just get shit done. You do, capital letters, get shit done. My dad's been taking it for 6 years, and it changed his work life. You should at least give it a try. I doubt anything bad will happen. I've never heard of a story where anything's gone crazily wrong, or barely wrong at all. Text me if you have any questions, etc. It changed this guy's life. He mentions that he brought his GPA up from a 1.9 to a 3.25, which if you're not American, that's like a low C bad student to a high B.
Okay.
I agree with everything he just said. I was telling Woody earlier. I don't have time released Adderall because the kind that I was prescribed when I was younger, when I was in middle school, there was no time release then. It was just I don't know what you call these little blue tabs, and they're not long lasting. I'd say they give you maybe 5-6 hours of like full on performance. And I took my normal morning dosage, and then 4 p.m. came around, and I started feeling a little sluggish, like a little tired. I took another one, and when you do that, when I take the second one, super motivated, and it's not just that I'm able to focus in on that one thing that's in front of me. It's not just that I'm able to focus in on coming up with an idea for a problem that I need to solve. It's that my problem solving itself is better. I come up with better solutions to the problems in front of me than I would normally. It's I love it to death. It's great stuff, and I don't see any. Perhaps I'm sure it is addictive to some people, but all things are addictive to some people. There's plenty of people completely addicted to Ben and Jerry's, and they're going to eat themselves to death with it.
People are addicted to the internet.
Totally, but with Adderall, I'll go if I'm not doing anything on a day, I won't take it because there's no reason to take it. I don't need to be super me today. I can be regular old me. I can, I don't need to take one today. And there's no point where I'm like, man, I wish I had an Adderall. That doesn't happen. But if I'm, the other day I had a lot of work to do, physical work. I had to go do stuff. I only got 3 hours of sleep. I had to be up at 6 a.m. And my alarm goes off, and it's actually the horn, like the military. And I was just like, God, no, why? just like I wanted to cry. I was so unhappy about having to get out of the bed. And, I hit the snooze. 30 minutes went by, and that's the worst, shittiest sleep ever. Get out of bed, start my day. Took one Adderall, and on the way to get into work, and I was just stuck in traffic and feeling really bad about stuff. I took the second one about half an hour before I got there, and keep in mind that's not like a large dosage. That is my recommended dosage is 20 milligrams, but on 10 at a time, and after the second one kicked in, I was like, I can't fucking wait to get there. Because I'm going to fuck this day up. This day messed up. The sun shouldn't have rose because I'm here now. It's all some stuff's about to go down. I'm motivated. I'm invigorated. Like I'm sitting there like on my phone, like learning things about what I'm about to have to do so that I'm a better version of me when I get there. Like I'm learning about what I'm about to do like a fucking Terminator or something on the way, like getting intel. And when I get there, it's just programmed into my mind. And there was this thing I had to repeat. And I had a professional there, and he was like going through all this technical data and all this really long-winded stuff. He said it once. He's like, no, you don't have to go through all. And I'm like, I got it. And I like repeated like 2 minutes of like speech immediately. But like my memory's better. I'm like a machine.
When's the last time you woke up, Jackie, and said, the sun shouldn't have rose. I'm about to fuck this day up.
Okay, it's been a very long time. But I didn't say you couldn't do it. I said that you had to go to a professional to get it, not, some guy in a street corner.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
But my argument here is, Woody, you already get shit done.
Yeah, that was my other argument
You're
too.
already very motivated, and you
There's a
already
better
do
version of
accomplish
me
a
out
lot.
there.
What? How much more could you possibly get done?
There's stuff. Remember I watched TV today while I ate lunch? I done fucked up. There's
Yes, you
time
did.
right there.
There's time right there. You ate lunch.
Yeah. If you've seen TV
Now,
this
how did
week,
coffee work out for you?
it was good.
It was good.
Hello,
Hey,
handsome. So,
Coffee?
coffee is
coffee.
our starter.
Oh, don't even go off on coffee.
Jackie, that's Jackie's argument. She's saying like, all right, look, I hear you on the Adderall thing. You need to, if you want to, you need to see a pro, but let's start you off with baby steps. And she's getting me going on coffee.
Because your sleep schedule's messed up.
You know who uses coffee as a performance-enhancing drug?
Dr.
Truck
Chiz?
drivers.
Oh,
Truck drivers. You know who uses amphetamines as a performance-enhancing drug? The
Captain.
fucking Blitzkrieg. Rolling across Europe, taking anything they want. Poland, hours now. Half of Russia, hours now. That's what the Nazis were geared up on during that whole Blitzkrieg campaign. They were geared up on amphetamines.
he makes a strong argument.
Now,
Let's be
I'm just saying,
Nazi-like.
if you want to get your AutoZone truck to Houston tomorrow, go ahead and have a pot of coffee. If you want to take fucking half of Europe, get yourself some amphetamines. Get yourself some Adderall.
I think
All right.
someone's been playing a little too much Civilization lately.
No, I'm talking about World War II. I'm talking, like literally the
I know you
Nazis were, fucking real stormtroopers. You want to be a stormtrooper. You want to bring a stormtrooper attitude to daily life. That's what I'm talking about.
No.
Final solution. You want to
the
bring the
final
Third
solution?
Reich into the business world.
No.
Why would you
You
say
can
no?
go to a doctor and see a professional.
That's what we need.
Yeah,
to-
totally.
right.
And you're a grown man. So if a college student went to a doctor and like started talking about ADD, and he didn't have a past history of ADD and Adderall and hadn't been prescribed before, he probably couldn't get it because it's used as a performance enhancing drug for those guys, and they sell it illegally and stuff, and it's an issue. But I think if a grown man went and you explained, honestly
No,
what
no,
the reasons you want it.
No, not family physician.
I
Yeah, family
googled
physician.
shady doctors near
Oh,
Apex,
God.
North Carolina, and this is the highest link.
My
He's going to
doctor
the
didn't
free
even.
clinic, like trying to.
This
His
is
Adderall
actually
fix.
my doctor. Now, or must be that Heart and Hand.
Maybe it's just the name Shady.
No,
Who's your Dr. Slim Shady? Is that who you're going to see?
it's not
Shady
actually-
Hills Medical Clinic.
the woman I see isn't on this page, but her practice is. So I
Usually
could
a bad
totally
sign.
go to the top hit for shady doctors near my house.
Oh yeah, it's not happening.
You
But
don't need
you're
a
funny.
shady doctor. This isn't a shady thing we're doing here. It's
the way I do it is.
No, you're not doing
Woody
it.
wants to feel like he's doing something dangerous, like it's like an illicit drug deal, and he's like, "Oh, you got that."
Yeah, exactly. He wants to do it like he's getting Call of Duty early with a .380 in his pocket. It's not like that. Yeah, I
You
literally told my
actually just
doctor
got
I was.
family physicians, and you clicked on family physicians.
But look at the Google search.
Yeah, but you clicked on family physicians.
That was the
in
top
area.
link that was an actual doctor.
Whatever. You just clicked on a crazy link. No.
You should totally make an appointment. You should make the appointment. You should find the number and have it written down so that tomorrow you call them whenever you get up, set up an appointment, and
that
you could have
seems like
Adderall.
a lot of work. It seems like I
You could-
need Adderall to get Adderall.
No, you do not. You're so stop playing.
To an extent you do, because for the longest time I've been talking about it, but I didn't go get the prescription. It wasn't until I had that rash and I broke out that I was already at the doctor, and I was like, let's talk about this rash, and then I've got 2 or 3 other things I want to talk about. And we handled that, and then I was like, I've had ADD for a long time. I was like, and I know that it's like one of the most overdiagnosed things out there, but I'm not like those other people. I can't stay focused. I can't stay motivated, and I got shit I need to do. And he's like, okay, well, time release tablets are this much, the instant ones are this much. I was like, well, I don't have any experience with the time release. Let's go these instant ones. They're cheaper anyway. I'm paying cash. $15 for an enormous bottle.
Oh, stop.
You will never
You
get
don't have ADD.
more.
I do.
You
You will
don't.
never get more.
I'm sorry, I've
return on
lost.
your money than
I'm
you
not
will
even
for
paying
a
attention to you
$15 bottle-
anymore.
You are
$15
so
bottle of
paying
Adderall.
attention to me. Stop it. Lefty, agree with me here. He does not have ADD.
I do.
You don't.
I
What
don't
were
know.
we talking about?
Stop it, Woody. You don't have ADD.
You see, that I don't think ADD is classified or characterized by forgetfulness. It's just the inability to focus on
I had
one
moved
thing.
on to something else.
Stop.
I don't know. It's just it. You know, Woody, how you say a lot how you're pro legalization of marijuana.
Yes.
However, you are similarly pro marijuana is a wonder drug that's no such thing as a bad thing associated with marijuana. I get
That
the
was
sense
a little confusing.
there's no downside to marijuana.
What I'm against is people who act as if marijuana was pure good and practically a health food, when in reality there is some negative stuff that happens with marijuana too.
I think you're making a similar mistake with Adderall. Because I have not once heard, you may have done research on your own, want to hear some of the downsides of prolonged Adderall use, brain doping, that kind of thing, treating a symptom that isn't there just to bring out the super you. Because unless I have to assume that there's some kind of downside to this, otherwise we would all have this chemical process going in our brains all the time.
It's so I'm trying to self-diagnose my motivation. And a part of my sense of self-worth is wrapped up in my success and productivity. And I almost feel like, oh, what if I turbocharged that? How awesome would I be then? What version of me would emerge if I took the part of me that I care a lot about and put it on roids?
Yeah. Yeah. It's better than steroids because with steroids you have to put work in. This just makes it happen. You don't have to work. It makes you work. You want the work. You want more work. There isn't enough work to get done. When someone says, "Hey Kyle, we've got this thing you got to write up. We need you to do this tomorrow. You've got to do this." I'm like, "Fuck yeah, stuff to do." I'm not just gonna do it. I'm gonna do it really well.
But he wasn't doing it before, right?
You're talking about Kyle.
Yeah.
I had a hard time doing it. I had a hard time doing it, and I would procrastinate.
Yes.
It was procrastination, and it was I don't know what the word, but half-assedness. Just doing something half-assed. Oh yeah, I'll take the trash out. I'll drag it to the door. And there'll be like trash slime on the floor tomorrow, and I'm not cleaning that up. No, the fucking trash is going to the dumpster outside. No, it's go time. We're getting shit done.
Do you have any idea how much unsolicited advice I'm about to get on Adderall?
A ton. But
It's
going
gonna
to
bombard me.
Yeah, I don't care about those people. If I would recommend, do some Google searching. Talk to a doctor. Talk to your doctor. That's what you should do. The only person
I don't
she's
think
there
you
for.
need it. I mean, I actually don't think you have ADD.
No, you don't need it. You want it.
You're not getting it just because you want it. You only get it if you need it. Have a cup of coffee. If you're just tired because you just need a kick in the morning, then have a cup of coffee.
Here's my suggestion. Here's how you break this thing. I say if I were you, Woody, I think there should be a benchmark and a comparison. So you get some sort of written exam, something like that, some way to test your cognitive abilities over a designated period of time. You take it and you perform that activity, that test, and you measure your mental faculties, and then you do the same on Adderall.
I imagine. I'm thinking of how many people in my life consider me hard to get in touch with. Right? They call. I don't get back to them. I've got so many things. I'm juggling like 1,000 things at once. If I was on Adderall, imagine like the version of me.
Oh, you'd pick up your phone if you were on Adderall.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
I'd be like.
No, you wouldn't.
Woohoo! Another incoming
phone
task.
Call. No. That's baloney. No. You would not pick up the phone just because you're on Adderall. No, you lie like a rug. Oh, you're so bad.
I don't think Adderall is a time dilation drug. I don't think it slows down or creates time that isn't there. If you realistically do not have time to answer phone calls or get back to people, that's not really going to change with Adderall, I don't think.
This show goes more smoothly when no one's here to call me on my bullshit.
Yeah, I think there's some caulking to be done, quite frankly.
Wait, so now I'm slipping, and now I'm getting kicked off because I'm calling you out on your bullshit.
Well, I think you're just starting to show your true colors, like Woody was saying earlier, and there's not much being done outside.
Yeah, you're being a hater, Jackie. Why are you being such a hater?
Oh my God! You know what?
Thanks a lot, Lefty.
There's enough people in the
You're
rest
my
of the world
favorite.
holding us down.
I'm on your side. Look, I'm going to be the next one kicked off PKA here after disagreeing with Woody.
Jackie,
For disagreeing with Woody. Oh my! It's all on me.
I'm gonna get divorced for disagreeing with Woody.
For $15 worth of Adderall, there could be a Casterly Rock in the future.
A what?
I think he's saying a mansion,
A castle.
but a castle.
Yeah, a castle.
I think I'd rather have you.
A summer castle on the lake.
But you don't know the other version of me.
Honey,
The
you
one that's
can't
going to
possibly
emerge?
do more. There
I could
are
do
not
more.
enough hours in the day. No, I've seen you.
You do more.
I would
with
make the
time you
argument
have.
that the version of Woody that worked a job and then went to night school to get his 2 postgraduate degrees is probably the closest to the super version of Woody that
He had
we're
gotten
gonna
4 post-grad degrees.
Shut up, Kyle.
You
Press that
gotten
button to
Juris
get rid of
Doctor,
Kyle.
too.
Yeah, I stopped at 3
Going to
degrees
court.
because
He
I'm
should
a
have been on
piece
the
of shit.
board at Cisco.
Would you want?
Basically, Woody, I think we've come to the conclusion that Adderall is the only thing from keeping you from being a billionaire. I think is exactly what.
Do you hear this? Lefty
come-
just
How about
said it.
How about a half measure? How about a half measure, Jackie? What if Woody got like a 5-pill sample pack to just test it out?
No. I think if Woody went to see the doctor I picked out for him, when the doctor said he had ADD and that he needed Adderall, then yes, he could have it. But I don't think the doctor would say that. I think the doctor
So
would give him a different pill.
How often does Woody get, sort of, how do I put this? How often does Woody decide what medication that you take?
I think Woody would have an opinion about medication.
Is he a driving force in your patient-doctor relationship? Is he right in the middle of that? Or you're starting to seem a little bit like a gentleman named Barack Obama right now. You're trying to get between Woody and his doctor. And I'm about to go Mitt Romney all over you right now, okay?
Blame Obama.
Obama.
Jack Obama.
We're married and we discuss what medications we take.
It's between the man and his doctor. That's all I'm saying.
No. It is not. If I
And
took
me.
something without you, if Kyle says it, it's okay. No, it's
It's between me
us.
and Woody and his doctor.
He wouldn't want me on something.
And Chiz and I on Skype too.
And 100,000 people listening.
Yeah.
200, 100, who the hell knows?
People say that.
And when we talk about it during PK plays.
Yes, and if Colin says, people say Colin has ADD, would you want him?
The challenge with Colin, especially with anything that's like motivational, is it's so hard to get feedback from him. Like, he's talking more and more and more. And if you were to go back, even I think a single year, if you were to say like, "Hey, how you doing?" It's like, no. He's better with more structured questions than some open like that. Now Colin will ask me how I'm doing. Having said that, like, if you were to query him about the status of his motivational state, I don't think he'd be able to describe it to you. So I'm extra cautious with Colin.
Because
Colin's a kid with special needs, and I'm an adult.
Okay, so
fully...
in the report that I got from the eye doctor, it was saying that it can mimic ADD. So
the eye tracking
the
thing.
eye tracking thing. So how do you know that you don't have eye tracking issues that are mimicking eye fatigue that would cause you to get tired and not want to work?
Where'd you
You
get your
can't
medical
know that
degree,
unless
Jackie?
we give Adderall a go.
I got it watching
WebMD Tech?
TV shows.
Yeah, she's watched lots of ER.
Hey,
And
I do a
University of
lot
Phoenix
of reading for
online.
Colin.
she does.
I do a lot of reading for Colin, but
Fair enough.
I like Colin will avoid work, get up and down constantly, but we have all day long to get the work done. So I wouldn't put him on Adderall or anything at this point in time because I don't think he needs it to get his work done.
Then again, maybe if he was on Adderall, he'd be fully speaking with like a British accent.
With the British accent.
It's jolly
Really?
old chap. Have some tea.
He'd sound like
No.
Jarvis from Iron Man.
I don't think so. And you shouldn't say that.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
So you can have coffee. Look at you, you're shaking because you had too much coffee today.
I'm a shaker. You stop.
I don't think you had two. You
That's
had
one of the
2.5
thi-
cups of coffee today.
You gave me a half cup?
Well, that shake was like a mocha coffee shake.
Yeah, that thing was candy.
That thing was candy, but you don't realize how much sugar, how much caffeine is in that.
Yeah.
I'm
What was
trying
it
to
called?
pace you. That was like a mocha thing at Panera.
Jackie's become my caffeine dealer. We touched on it a little bit. I don't know if it was before the show or during, because I have ADD.
You do not.
Like she's like, why don't we do baby steps? Why don't we start you on caffeine before Adderall? So that's where we are.
Yeah, don't listen to Kyle.
So is it too late to make this show a drinking episode? Now that I know that Woody's all hopped up on caffeine, I want to get some alcohol in his system
It's
too.
never too late.
Well, you don't have. Well, we
Yeah, I
have
don't
Kahlua and cream.
Fucking wasted, bro.
All I have is Kahlua.
It's good. Put that in some coffee.
Kahlua. Wait, is that a thing people mix with coffee?
Yes, it's like a coffee liqueur.
Nice.
Bailey's. You ever drink Bailey's from a shoe?
I've never.
No one got that reference.
No.
Shit.
What is that from?
It's from the Mighty Boosh, right? It's from Old Greg. I'm Old Greg.
Oh, I never.
What?
Old Greg
Want
was.
to see my downstairs mix up?
I didn't
my
get
Old
Old
Greg?
Greg.
Ah.
As far as I know, Old Greg was just a series of
Okay.
YouTube videos.
Oh,
And
I don't watch YouTube.
it was a guy
British
who.
TV show called the Mighty Boosh. Those are clips taken from it.
Okay, for me, like I never got the funny. Like it just.
Oh,
it
that's a
was-
shame.
Yeah, it wasn't for me.
Maybe if you had some Adderall in your life,
You'd be able to watch
Adderall
my
makes
YouTube
everything funny.
videos.
Yeah.
it doesn't.
He's like
it
a,
doesn't do
he's
that.
like a snake oil salesman.
Let me tell you what else Adderall
I'll get
does.
you a bottle of this stuff, and it's great for you. And I mean, it fixes everything. You rub it on this, you do it on that, and no worry, you'll be no worries.
So you can, it's one of those things where you like, if you want a little motivation, you cut the tablets in half. You can. It's so good. I'm telling you, this is a good thing. You should. I think you start small. You start with a small dosage. You just see how it makes you feel, and I just don't see the downside. Don't see the downside, but I see so many upsides. And I'll say this: it also curbs your appetite. I'm having to really force myself to eat on days when, especially if I take a lot. If I take 2 pills, I have to force myself to drink the 2 or 3 protein shakes and then get a couple of meals in me too. Like it's hard. And you drink a ton of water, which is good for you, because it does give you dry mouth. So all day I'm drinking water constantly. I'm probably drinking a gallon of water easily.
Does this not sound like pure win?
Well, caffeine also curbs your appetite. Coffee.
Caffeine has a lot of negative side effects, though.
I'm rolling my eyes. You can't see it, but I'm rolling my eyes.
Adderall also has downsides. We just haven't fully researched them yet. So
Don't give a shit.
Oh God.
As long as my
sorry.
dick still works and
If the downside of Adderall is getting riches and fucking bitches, then I'm okay with it.
That's my new motto. It totally is.
You
That's
should
what I
make that
told.
into a T-shirt.
I'm going to. I really am. I'm on that. That because of the Adderall. I already designed that T-shirt. You should. I've got several new designs. Okay. I'm
Look
learning.
at what he's like, look at
I'm
what
teaching
he's like.
myself Photoshop and learning French. Deal
Oh
with
my
it.
God, is the French thing true?
Oui.
Well, you see, it's true. It's true.
Say something else.
I can't say.
Yeah.
He's just.
You know what I saw?
saying
There's like a Learn German podcast. I kind of want to check that out.
Interesting.
Why would you?
I was on
wanna
the
learn
podcast
German?
front page looking at where my show is seated, and I saw there's a Learn
Why
German.
did you get this?
Well,
thing?
because everybody
give it
knows
to you.
Spanish and French, and it's
German is such an ugly language, though.
No, it sounds so cool. What are you talking about? It's the
No.
exact opposite. It's not ugly. It's amazing.
It's harsh and like.
I want to learn
Crisp.
German just so that
English
I
is
can recreate
a
Hitler's
Germanic
speeches.
language, isn't it? Isn't English Germanic?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Someone will
I
tell
was
you.
educated in America.
To be honest, I don't know what Germanic means, but
Sounds German.
I was told that English is a Germanic language. So
I speak
It probably
American,
came from
which
that
is the
information.
best language.
God bless America. There should put a flag behind you.
It's what my
Speak
betting
American.
says.
Is it
Um,
10 already?
I think you
I know
should
you
ask your
got talking
doctor.
to do.
Ask your
consult with the
doctor
doctor.
honestly. Just ask your doctor honestly. What are the downsides of me taking Adderall? Just, don't tell the doctor this, because if you pay the doctor enough, they'll give you the script for Adderall. But just ask them honestly, like, look, what are the downsides?
Doc's
if they say
gonna-
there are no downsides, go to another doctor. Because there's downsides. It's just about how honest they are.
The doctor's gonna be like looking at it. It says right here, you'll be getting riches and fucking bitches. Only you, baby.
Oh God.
Wouldn't that make her?
It was new topic. New topic.
You better backpedal. You're crashing and burning. Pull up.
Pull up.
Eject.
All right. Do you want a new topic?
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
going. I have caulking to do.
All right.
And Woody's got shaving to do with DollarShaveClub.com. Go there right now. DollarShaveClub.com.
Can you actually? Would you do me that favor? Would you bring me
Now I have to bring you things.
a bowl of
because
warm
you just
water?
called me a bitch.
Some shaving butter. I didn't
Certainly
need it.
did not.
And the blade.
Shaving butter. Is that the thing?
I think that's what it's called. Yeah, the tube of
Yeah,
stuff.
it's called shave butter. Yeah.
Do you need a new blade?
No, I think
Not
so.
with Dollar Shave Club, you don't.
Not with a Dollar Shave Club blade. Are you kidding me? You could shave
so
Wings
what do you want?
back with that thing.
The blade, the shave butter, and a bowl of warm water.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and a like a
Towel of some
towel
kind?
sort.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Thanks, baby.
Okay, bye.
Everybody right now go click on that link, DollarShaveClub.com/PKA. Go there now.
Make it happen. So I started watching Doctor Who recently a little bit. Does anybody else have any experience with this?
I do.
What do you think about it?
Doctor Who. I like Doctor Who a lot. I think it's fantastic. I think actually it gets better as the seasons go on.
Yes. I started in the season from 2011. It may be the 5th season on Netflix.
Did. Why would you do that?
Well, Kitty's a big fan of it, and
okay.
and she hadn't seen that season, and she's like, "Oh, a season I've never seen before," and she started playing it, and I was like, "All right, I guess I'll sit here," and I really enjoyed it. I've only seen 2 episodes so far, but it's really smart, it's really funny, lots of jokes.
I'm glad you said that. It's a clever show, right? Like you have to pay attention to it. It's not like the opposite of a clever show would be Big Bang Theory, right? Like Big Bang Theory is
just dick jokes and silliness.
You can be a mental midget and not miss a thing in Big Bang Theory.
Arrested Development, on the other hand, you got to pay attention, be a smart guy to enjoy it fully.
And I would say Doctor Who is even a step after that. And
right.
for example, and I'm not giving anything away, I don't think, but Doctor Who has a girlfriend in the show. And Doctor Who moves forward through time, and his girlfriend moves backwards through time. So there's kind of a complicated thing where he gets to know her better all the time. And
no, it's the opposite. She's always getting to know him better, and he knows her less. Are you referring to
I'm right?
You're not. Did you see the episode with the girl in the spacesuit?
Yeah.
Those are the two. Yeah. So that 2-part story that I saw was. So remember at the end of it, and this isn't a spoiler. There's literally hundreds and hundreds of episodes of Doctor Who. But remember at the end, she's back in her prison cell. They kiss, and then he gets back in the time machine or whatever. And their conversation amounted to, he's like, wow, he thought that was their first kiss, and to her, that was, they had a relationship that had.
That's what I said though. So he's moving forward through time, and she's moving backwards. But we are with Doctor Who as we do this thing. So there are times when, like, he'll say a thing, and she'll be like, "No spoilers," because she knows everything and he doesn't.
Yeah, I thought you said it the other way around. I thought you were saying that he knew more than her, but
no.
She knows him better than he knows her. That's
talking about Doctor
nature
Who.
of the relationship.
Check.
But yeah, I don't know enough about Doctor Who to give very good advice. But here's the thing about it is it's been on for like 50 years, and the nature of the show is that the Doctor dies, every 5 or 10 years or something, and they replace him. And it's kind of part of the ongoing thing that he's like reincarnated in some way. But the only Doctor I want to see is the one from the episode that we were just discussing, because I saw there was this in season 1 that's on Netflix, and that's not season 1. It's season 1 of the new incarnation of Doctor Who, and not to get too convoluted, but there was this guy with a shaved head who was a bit younger, and I watched 5 minutes of him and turned it off. But the guy in the 2011 season, I think it starts maybe in season 5. Could be wrong. He's awesome. Really
I want to
clever
say
guy.
I'm on my I'm not positive. I'm afraid I forget what Doctor Who fans call themselves, like Whovians or something. I'm afraid that someone's going to correct me. But I think in the modern Doctor Who's, there's 3 doctors. And in my opinion, they get better each time. but that I like all three dramatically better, like much better than I like the guy from like the 70s or something. Like I didn't really like
Oh,
him.
of course, yeah. And so we often talk about how movies are getting better as time goes on. TV is
Yes,
much more advanced than that. Like TV sucked back in the 70s. You go back and watch the Bionic. I don't know if these were 70s shows. I think Bionic Woman, $6 Million Man, all that crap. It's crap. The Hulk,
I don't know.
the original Hulk.
There was some good TV back in the day.
It was, but it's
the Rockford Files was good. It was like a precursor to Burn Notice, and the A-Team was just cheesy shit, but it was good cheesy.
No,
there was
the high level of TV shows. Like if you were to take the peak, say Rockford Files, and compare that to Breaking Bad, Breaking Bad is probably the finest TV show ever made, ever. The stuff that Netflix is coming out with, like Orange is the New Black, House of Cards, that stuff surpasses anything that existed in the 90s, or what I like to call the Aughties. Aught as in like naught, zero, the Aughties, or the Naughties. I like that too. The year before 2010, that decade,
21st century.
It should be called the Naughties, because naught means nothing. The Naughties, I like it. But anyway, the Naughties, the 90s, the 80s, that stuff. If you take the peak of what they have going on, they can't compare to stuff like Breaking Bad, Orange is the New Black, House of Cards.
Especially if you talk about network television and not HBO. Like if you take HBO out of the equation, network TV fucking sucks. Like Seinfeld's there, it was great. Cheers was great back in the day. Frasier was a smart show. There are examples of good shows, but X-Files was a great show. Especially the first 4, 5, 6 seasons.
But for every that 70s show, there's a that 80s show.
Yeah, remember that? Short-lived.
It's like 3 episodes and then it got cut.
That was such crap. 70s show. Look at all those guys from the 70s show. All those actors, except for maybe 1 or 2. They all did big things. You got Ashton Kutcher.
Right.
You got, Wilmer Valderrama. He did some stuff. He made money.
Oh, Fez, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Fez made money. Donna has had a couple of movie roles, 2 or 3 at least. Obviously, Mila Kunis has just blown up. She's a big star now. And Hyde? I don't think Hyde's really. Hyde kind of petered out.
Yeah, he was in that vampire movie and really nothing else. But I think he's like a DJ or something.
Sure, I'm sure he's making his way in the world, but he didn't become an Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, but those residuals from that 70s show got to be keeping you in green for.
You never know with those contracts. I remember David Spade was on the Howard Stern show the other day, and when I think of David Spade, I think of a guy who possibly isn't doing that well. David Spade's the blonde guy who was Chris Farley's, kind of buddy, and they did a lot of stuff together, Tommy Boy and all that stuff. And I thought, for some reason, I think of that guy as someone who potentially isn't doing incredibly well. Like maybe this is a guy who makes a living, but he's not a multimillionaire. No, David Spade fucking gets it done however he wants. He's like, if I want some money, just go on tour for a few weeks, and he's making tons and tons of money. He's $10,000 an appearance just every week if he wants it, and he's doing those crappy Adam Sandler movies.
Oh God.
Those things make $100 million each time. They don't cost shit.
Stop going to see those, please.
Howard Stern used to do this thing where he was like, I could make an Adam Sandler movie off the top of my head. And he's like, all right, Adam Sandler. He walks around, he gets his foot stuck in a bucket, and then he becomes like a field goal kicker for the New York Giants because he's got this bucket foot. Go, make a movie. And you're like, that could be an Adam Sandler movie. Like, for real.
Yeah, Adam Sandler movies are there's a couple of good ones. Some of the old ones have their charm to them. I like Happy Gilmore. I like Billy Madison a little bit less than Happy Gilmore. His serious stuff is better. Punch Drunk Love is an excellent movie in my opinion. I love Punch Drunk Love.
What's Oh, I'm sorry. I'm mixing up Adam Sandler with a different SNL guy. The guy who did like 50 First Dates. Is that what that was called?
That was Adam Sandler.
It was Adam. Wait,
that was Adam Sandler.
Yeah. I like that movie.
That was a pretty good movie.
That was not bad. That was not a bad Adam Sandler movie.
And
has Billy Madison aged that well? Like I watched it
He's getting old.
Last
He's
year
like 50, he's
sometime.
almost 50 now.
Well, no, but I mean, just the movie itself. When you watch it again now, are you like, oh, he said poo?
Of course not. No.
It's not
But
as
Happy
funny as it
Gilmore
used
is
to
still good.
Mm-hmm.
And you can count on me waiting for you in the parking lot. That thing's still good. He's like, I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. You eat pieces of shit for breakfast? And he's just fuck. That one's still got some humor to it. But the cool thing about Adam Sandler, and this is kind of away from where we started, but whatever. Those projects he does now under his own production umbrella, from what I understand, Billy Madison Productions, I think is what it's called. He gets his friends in there. He gets David Spade. He gets Chris Rock. He gets Kevin Hart. What's the guy from King of Queens?
Kevin James.
Kevin James. He gets Kevin James in there, and Rob Schneider. Guys who wouldn't be getting very much work otherwise. And he puts them in this movie, and they all make a ton of money. And it's him and his buddies working together, and they're like, "Fuck the critics! We're gonna make $125 million this month. Let's do it." It's a cool thing he does.
Yeah, but they suck.
They do suck. I don't watch them. I watch they're just not that great. You got to be a little dim to enjoy them, if you ask me.
For the record, I am now looking good and smelling good. Done. Like that.
DollarShaveClub.com/PKA. Look as good as Woody. Click that link right now. Get yourself some.
The thing I like about that shave butter is that it's unlike shaving cream, it's translucent. You can see right through it, and you can see what you're shaving on. Think about how silly it is to use shaving cream, something that completely obscures your view, while you're using a razor blade on some of the most sensitive parts of your body. It makes no sense at all.
And it works.
You could shave a nipple right off with some shaving cream. Then what are you gonna do?
I didn't see that thing.
You're not unsullied. You want those.
You could lose a testicle. It's fucked up.
And you end up with a nudicle from the vet down the road. And a sneaky suspicion that he had his way with you under anesthesia.
Like, what was the dentist's name from Seinfeld? Tim Watley.
Watley. Seinfeld starts coming out of the anesthesia after having some dental work, and his eyes are all blurry. You can't really see what's going on. But the nurse and Tim Watley, his dentist, who was played by Bryan Cranston of Breaking Bad, seem to be getting dressed as if they've just completed some act with him as an unwilling and unconscious third party.
That's good acting. Bad writing.
Oh my god. There's no acting to be done there. It's literally like a blurry. There's no acting there. It's all the writing.
Do you guys need a whole new topic?
Sure.
Do you know graceful segues? God, it's a gift. Not everyone's born with it like I am.
Fuck segues.
Yeah,
all right. What is the oldest trick in the book, according to you? What's the oldest trick in the book?
The bait and switch is pretty classic.
I forgot to pull out.
You forgot to pull out.
My bad.
Doesn't that screw you?
Something happened. Well,
You make
it's
a baby.
trick. Not all tricks are to the benefit of all parties involved.
Just a tip.
Just a tip. Oh. Just a tip.
The oldest trick in the book.
It's got to be something with Kyle. You said the bait and switch, and I like that. It's got to be something with sales, right?
Maybe you go back to the Garden of Eden, that mythology. What Satan did to Adam and Eve. That's the oldest trick in the book, right? Literally. Zing.
What?
One of the oldest tricks could be the book.
Oh, atheism reference.
We disagree a bit about that. So here's my thing. I'm not trying to. There are some historical documents that verify certain parts of the Old Testament, correct? Like especially geographical things, and they speak about historical figures in the Bible, which we know actually existed. So there's some. Say what you want. Maybe David and the Lion Den, maybe Sodom and Gomorrah. those things didn't happen the way it went down. Maybe there wasn't an actual physical serpent who misled Eve to eat an actual physical apple, which gave her shame. That seems kind of far-reaching. Like, where's that coming from? But there's a lot of talk of geographical areas, talking about bodies of water,
but
land
it almost
masses,
seems
mountains.
like the
King Herod was a person.
the shysters that like put that book out existed, and that's the truth, right? Jesus was a real person. Jesus really did go from place to place, like doing stuff, spreading the religion that he was a god. But all the stuff that he said about himself, coming back to life, and the apple, and like all that stuff wasn't true. It's like the people existed, but if your frame of reference is those people were just really talented con men, then Lefty, then it all sort of, all those puzzle pieces fit together. People wonder about me, like where I am. They're like, is Woody atheist? Is Woody religious, etc.? I thought about it. I am the worst of everything. I am like, so I'm atheist, but I think of myself as a moral atheist, right? So I don't cheat on my wife. I don't even really drink to get drunk. I don't steal. I don't do anything like fun. I'm like a Mormon-y atheist.
Do you believe in karma?
But a more physical version of karma. Here's an example. We had a hacker on WoodyCraft who had a particular kind of hack, and this is like 5 months ago. And I mentioned it. There's like a chat for server owners, and I was like, hey, does anyone have this problem? Does anyone have a solution? And this guy who's a talented developer was like, I know exactly how to fix that. So he whips up some code for me in like 15, 20 minutes or something. It's 50 lines. He did it super quick. And he gave it to us, and it solved the problem that we had. All right. So then I paid him. And he didn't ask for money. He didn't do anything. But, like if you help a business like that, the business should give back to you. And it was just like, I don't want to be a taker, right? I want everyone who works with me in one way or another to walk away from the situation thinking that they were treated fairly. So I paid him, and he was surprised. He's like, hey, if you ever need anything again, you just let me know, etc. Whatever. I never talked to him again. And then Chiz starts reaching out to developers, and we wanted to have a new game mode made, and he starts, like, hey, this is our idea for a thing. Are you interested in making it? It turns out he reached out to this guy, and he's like, yeah, I'd totally make that. You may not know this, but I wrote a thing for Woody before, and he paid me, and, I would love to do it. Like, there's an example of good karma coming back around. Like, I never knew if I'd work with him again, but it's a small world. And because he was treated right, there are a lot of people who would do things for free for me because they're fans of my YouTube channel, and I pay them anyway. I don't take advantage of that. And sometimes good karma circles around, and now we have a developer who's doing great things for WoodyCraft because I treated him well the first time, he thought he was volunteering. Mm-hmm. So karma is a thing, but it's more like I don't think of it as a mystical thing. I think what goes around comes around because people have memories.
That's probably a good approach. I will never not pay for graphics. Like when people do graphics work, I'm like, all right, what's a fair price for this? And I make them say the price first, just because I don't want to. Well, I don't want to inadvertently lowball them and piss them off.
And you don't want to inadvertently blow them out of the water and then be like, oh yeah, that's 10 times more than what I wanted.
Well, no, this one guy did graphics. I'm like, all right, well, can you offer a price? Because I don't know what I'm doing with this, and I don't want to insult you.
Did you put the episode number in the lower right corner?
No, that was me. That was all me. But he did it, and I said, all right, well, here's the deal. How about you double that? I think it was double. How about you double that, and you send me the PSD files, and we call it a day. And the other thing, I'm like, I don't want to pay for your branding on my stuff, so I'll pay a premium for that. But a lot of YouTubers don't pay for graphics. And I thought, no, you have to pay these people, even if they're younger guys, kids. They need to get an idea of you do good work and you get rewarded for it. And I try to be fair in my rewarding, but you do good work and morality, some would argue, is not wrapped up in mysticism or theology. Morality can exist without theology.
For sure. Like there are concepts of right and wrong. So some people who are religious say, look, my right and wrong came from the Bible. Therefore, you not being a Bible guy don't have a right and wrong. But that's not the case at all. Right and wrong is intrinsically obvious to anyone who exists in this world. You know, it has to do with whether or not there's a victim in the transaction.
Mm-hmm. So
is one person taking advantage of another? You know, can you find a win-win in this thing? You know, that's where right and wrong is oftentimes.
Yeah, ideally everyone makes money. That's often the phrase that gets used whenever I'm negotiating with somebody about goods and services. It's I want everyone to make money. But let's find a way so that it's a mutually beneficial symbiotic situation. Nobody wants to feel like they're a parasite, and nobody wants to feel like they're taking advantage.
No. But some people can't do it, and you get stuff like Comcast and other ISPs that are slowing down Netflix traffic. It's like you're making gobs. You have so much money. We have to invent new numbers for you to count how much money you have. And you're nickel and diming your customers over Netflix traffic because you may have to take 75% of $100 billion. Ooh. Why can't everybody have their hustle and, like you said, Kyle, symbiotic? And it just kind of exists. Like, I don't know, you create a game and that game has run its course and now there's a different kind of business model that has popped up, and it is propped up by transactions, we'll call them. And now all of a sudden you existed with that for a while, and now you're like, well, now, why can't people you're making lots of money and allow these people to make lots of money, and you each help each other make lots of money, and just everybody be happy about it?
Some men just want to watch the world burn, Lefty.
A long time ago, like in the 20s and then again in the 50s, the United States built out its roadway system, and it has paid huge dividends in making businesses more efficient in the United States and that we can easily transport goods long distances. Cool. Not that long ago, in like the 70s and early 80s, the United States built out its water system, and that has paid huge dividends. We have some of the most productive farming that the world has ever seen because we did that with our farming. I wish there was a politician who ran on the platform, I'll get you more bandwidth. If America made a huge investment in our internet infrastructure, then that would pay huge dividends for a long, long time. If you think about like how your computer has advanced, but your CPU is so much faster than it was 15 years ago. Your hard drive, oh my God, the capacities have gone way up, and the speed at which you access the hard drive as you move from the old school mechanical whatever to SSDs. SSDs have gotten so fast they're moving off the SATA cable and into the PCI slot. The hard drive has gone so much faster. The CPU has gotten so much faster. Your graphics card has gotten so much faster that stuff from 10, 15 years ago is just so antiquated. But your internet line, even now, like 100 megabit internet line from 15 years ago is double, triple, 10 times what you need, to connect to your cable modem. That thing's 10 megabits or 50 megabits for a lot of people. For mine, it's 50. That's people who have more here and there. But in the United States, what's the average net speed? 3 megabits?
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's shit.
3 megabits is literally like 25, 30 years ago when we could support that kind of speed. What's happening to computing because of the network latency is just shit. And it's holding back mankind. And we just need, really we need government to step in and break up the monopoly like they did with phone companies back in the 80s. Just
absolutely
wreck them. And you won't find, you're not going to lose votes on this, I promise you. You might lose, because you can see how they donate.
You lose those fucking lobby dollars, you cocksuckers.
Yes. Oh,
right.
I don't want to change
the head of the FCC is a former lobbyist. What the
actually,
corrupt is that bullshit?
I don't even know. I don't know. Like, I'm told that if you ignore everyone who has a lobbying history, then you lose everyone who's like competent for the job. And it's like, what if I said Lefty? you can't have this job because you once had that other job. You're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, when I did that job, I represented him. Like attorneys do this all the time. And now that I have this job, I represent them. And, in either case, I can do this really well. I know this business.
Knowing the business is one thing. However, when you represent it directly, like who's the Chief Justice who refused, or not the Chief Justice, the Supreme Court Justice who refused to recuse himself in the
Clarence
Monsanto
Thomas?
case? Yeah, right. Represented Monsanto, and then when Monsanto had a case being heard before the Supreme Court, Clarence Thomas said, "No, there's no conflict of interest here." That, I think, is a conflict of interest that you need to avoid. And you like Dick Cheney representing Halliburton. No.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if Dick Cheney being a prosecutor and then going to be the attorney general is one thing, because you have an idea of prosecution. However, representing specific business interests and then going on to govern those interests, I think is more of a conflict of interest than just being a businessman and then representing business. But it is difficult to draw that line.
You mentioned Monsanto, and that's one of the most evil corporations out there. They've done a lot of good. They've got a lot of know-how, and they're really amazing at what they do. But they're evil. They're absolutely evil. And just make a quick
evil.
Yeah,
can I?
Here you go.
Go ahead.
I'll
listen.
Here's your story. So they have this genetically modified corn, which you can spray with Roundup, and it doesn't hurt it. And basically, and for those of you who don't know, Roundup is an herbicide that kills everything it touches. Nothing survives when you spray Roundup. You spray a circle of Roundup in a yard, everything turns brown and dies in a few days. But they have corn that doesn't. So you just waste your whole field with Roundup, everything but the corn dies, the corn thrives. Here's the problem. There are some farmers who don't want to use Monsanto corn. They want all natural, non-genetically modified corn. But that's not how plants work. They spread their pollen, the wind blows it, it goes to the next field. Well, what had happened was the Monsanto pollen had crossed over to standard corn crops and pollinated with them, and it became, as far as Monsanto was concerned, a Monsanto product then. So one of the things that these types of farmers do is they keep a percentage of their corn harvest to reseed the next year. So they don't harvest every kernel of corn and send it off to the market. They harvest 80%. The other 20% is kept until next year to be planted for the next crop. Monsanto says, no. That's Monsanto seed. We own that seed. Not only can you not, you can't do that. You can't have it.
You're violating our copyright.
Yeah, you're violating our patent. And they would take them to court. And when you're dealing with a multi-billion-dollar corporation,
my understanding that 2/3 of that field was actually that copyright, and that Google reviewed it and upheld it, because there are not automatic strikes if you're linking to something off-site, and it actually does take a review.
It wasn't a content ID. There was not a Monsanto content ID.
It wasn't a content ID, which is an automated system. It was an off-site thing, which takes a human, which is why it took 2 days. So don't believe the bullshit that Monsanto tries to tell you.
I didn't know it was going this way, to be honest. But anyway, so Monsanto takes these farmers to court, and some people think farmers are incredibly wealthy when they see those, multi-thousand-acre fields and, hectares of corn and stuff like that. And to some extent, they've got a lot of money, but you can spend $400,000 fighting this thing in court and get nowhere. And some of these farmers have done that and went bankrupt, lost the farm, and it's just a shitty situation. And Monsanto's just crushing them under their boot.
Like, Monsanto's bad. If you see it from both standpoints, though, it's like, haha, there's a way we can all get Monsanto corn.
Your corn raped my corn. Well, I can't be responsible for your corn raping my corn.
All right, Kyle.
You can't tell me what to do with the offspring.
I'm going to make a deal with you.
Corn raper.
Since you live upwind of me, I am going to pay 20%. You get the Monsanto field, but I know that over time I will too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that effective. It's It's not how it works.
Well, I mean, the way you told the story is now I have Monsanto corn. And especially over time, right? If we keep doing that, you're going to replant Monsanto next year.
Sure.
And before long, I've got Monsanto corn.
But
Monsanto, you need to make it so your corn isn't plantable. You need some sort of thing where the offspring of that corn doesn't reproduce.
exactly. If Monsanto doesn't want their corn,
If you want me to have to buy it every year, you need to engineer that into the corn. Then we can solve this problem. I have a thing about the lobbying.
Mm-hmm.
A teenager made this, and I loved it so much. It's a Chrome extension called Greenhouse. And all you need to do, and it's like all approved and everything. You can get it through the Google stuff. When you highlight a politician's name, it tells you who which industries pay for his campaign. So there's
Can we do a few?
I don't have the plugin, but I have an image of it, and I can actually link you guys so you'll see it too. But this is where I read about it.
I'd like to hover a couple of politicians, right?
Right. So here's a guy. You highlight his name, and they're like, oh, the hydro industry, cable broadband, puppy orphanages. I don't know if these are real examples, but yeah. So you can see which lobby groups are bankrolling which politicians in your browser with this plugin called Greenhouse.
Oh, this is hilarious. Hydra is, of course, the bad guy.
Oh yeah. This is from Avengers.
Yeah, this is who Captain America's been fighting since World War II. This is the Red Skull. The Red Skulls organization.
Thank you, because I was like, puppy organizations, I think they're pulling my leg on this thing. But anyway, it's a neat plugin.
And also, that's not a real senator. That's an actor whose name is escaping me. Right
he did the
he did look
HBO
familiar.
show, right, where he had like a talk show. Is that the same guy?
That's not Bill Maher, if that's who you're thinking of.
That's not who I'm thinking of.
His name escapes me.
But I like this image where cable broadband is right under Hydra.
And right above
Super
puppy
villain.
orphanages.
Anyway, it's a super cool thing. And
I get the point of allowing corporations to lobby and allowing them to make political donations. I think the idea behind it. But doesn't that just fundamentally just rub you the wrong way?
It does.
Absolutely.
Can I make the point? Forgive me, everyone, because it takes about 90 seconds for me to make this point. So get comfy. Here's the deal. Let's say, for example, you want to support a politician. You, right? A regular person. You might put a sign in your front yard, right? And that's free speech. We all kind of agree that is just free speech. Go Gary Morehouse sign in your front yard. All right, let's take that to the next level. Let's say that you want to buy a billboard, that you're really passionate about this guy, going to make your town better. Now you buy a billboard, elect Gary Morehouse for something. That's free speech too, right? We kind of get that. It's free speech. Why can't I buy a billboard that says this thing? That's just me talking, even though there's a little money involved. Bumper sticker might be an intermediate step. First, I use a bumper sticker, then I buy a billboard. These are all just ways that I talk and spread my message. I'm trying to tell you that this guy is the bee's knees. Now I'm from the 20s. Anyway, the next level after the billboard is maybe a radio ad, right? Am I allowed to buy a radio ad that says support Gary Morehouse? That's just my speech. It's me, giving my opinion out to those people. And sure, there's a barrier to entry that not everyone can buy radio ads, but a lot of people can. They're not that big a deal. Probably cheaper. I don't know. They're probably comparable to PKA ads. You can buy a thing on here. I guarantee I'll tell you to... I might not on the voting. But, we'll say shit for money. That's what we do. And... then the next level is TV, right? Now I want to buy a TV ad. This is my free speech. This is an expression. I want to give my opinion out there to these people. And America is really sensitive to drawing the line around free speech. We'd be more likely to cut back on gun rights or privacy rights or, lots of other rights, Fifth Amendment rights, who knows what. But free speech, when you say speech, it pretty much has to be like child porn for us to start saying, I don't think you should say that. right? You know, you can do lots. You can say a lot of things in the U.S. We don't even begin to stop you from criticizing our government. We don't even begin to stop you from putting porn on the web. We don't even begin to stop you from doing anything that could almost remotely be considered speech. We're super sensitive about that. And when it comes to supporting a political candidate, buying a TV ad or donating money to people that buy TV ads is just an extension of that free speech. And the trouble is, the impact on it means that the wealthy have a louder voice than the poor. And that's unfair. But we haven't figured out a good way to like allow free speech without saying, well, you know, you can only say as much as this person without the money to say it.
Yeah.
I start it this way: corporations aren't people. There we go. Number one, your corporation is not a person, so it doesn't have free speech rights, so it can't donate whatever it wants to some political campaign. And then campaign limitations. Just completely regulate the whole idea of running for political office. That's a way to fix it, although there are certain downsides to that, obviously.
So I think that what you're talking about is a step in the right direction, right? Corporations aren't people. God, obviously. Campaign caps as to how much you can donate, that's kind of a thing. But what if I don't donate to your campaign? What if I want my own TV campaign? Bam, I'm doing it myself.
What do you mean?
So I am...
You just buy...
I make a parallel pro Bob Dole. I don't care. He's a retired Republican. I make a parallel pro Bob Dole campaign thing where I say, this guy is the coolest guy out there, and I'm just running my TV ads all the time.
Yeah, that's you know, that might be without...
That's what the Swift boat veterans did.
Right, that's...
Right?
Yeah,
they weren't working for McCain. Was it? No, Bush. They weren't working for Bush. Mm-hmm. They were just working in a way that really helped Bush. And they sank Kerry with what I think are lies. But...
I don't know about that. I don't think anybody ever proved that those are lies. It seemed legit, right?
Oh, is this the he's not an actual war hero thing?
Yeah. The guy had like 2 bronze stars and a silver star, and
I never saw him there. It was a lie.
Dude, and like he could have chosen anything because he was politically connected. He could have chosen anything. He chose this very dangerous Swift boat, like driving boats on rivers and stuff like that. He could have been 100 miles offshore in a big ship, eating like good food. Or W. He was literally running against a guy who flew planes in Texas, and suddenly Kerry became the not brave one. But anyway, they I think spread lies about this guy, saying that he was some sort of war coward compared to the guy who never left America, and it's just free speech. How do you stop like a Swift boat veteran like thing from just putting their opinion on the radio?
Yeah, without violating their free speech. I don't.
And in America, and I'm not saying America's unique in this way, but in America, we really push back against even beginning to slice your free speech rights. It's our First Amendment, right? If they're ordered, number 1, free speech. Number 2, have guns.
They are ordered. Exactly like that.
Are they ordered? Did they order them in like order of importance?
I don't.
I think gun rights advocates like to say they are.
Absolutely. The First Amendment is your freedom of speech. Your Second Amendment defends that right. And then they go from there.
That's a total
pro-gun
thought
you're
process.
You're gonna take my right to say what I want? Oh, good luck. That's why when you start tearing away at the second one, you know what's coming next.
Mm-hmm.
What is the third one?
No quartering of troops, I believe.
I think the fourth is like some sort of unreasonable search and seizure, maybe coming into your property or something like that. Honestly,
the right of the people to be unreasonable or to be
secure.
secure.
Amendment is the right to self-incrimination.
I have a question to pose to you guys and to people out there who may have studied this thing. Because reading about there's recently a bill that passed in the House of Representatives that would effectively cut funding to NSA spying programs, domestic spying programs.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bill, an appropriations bill, and it said specific language: no money from this act or bill should blah 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 go towards NSA or CIA operations on Americans and all this stuff. And one of the big things about the whole Edward Snowden thing was that all of this was technically legal. All of this spying on people's phone records and emails and stuff. And no, it's not. Everybody likes to say when they don't like something the Constitution has to say, well, it's old, it's antiquated. Guns back then were this, so it can't possibly apply today. And I say, well, one of the beautiful things about it is the way it was worded. Papers and effects in the Fourth Amendment. What is that if not mail, if not also electronic mail? Do we really need special legislation that explicitly says papers is now defined as, this as now as email or your phone records? No, we had these things already set to go. And it was persons, papers, and effects.
So much. Somewhere along the way, we decided that, all right, checking on your paper mail, whoa. That's like a huge problem. No one can read your mail. That's not right. You have privacy. Tapping your phone line, right. No, you don't mess with people's phone lines. You need a court order for that. That's protected. Tapping a cell phone, well, that's like that, dude. Cell phones aren't like phones. Cell phones they're wires in the air. I don't even have to tap it. I could probably pick up some conversations from here. And email, that's not mail. That's some unprotected form of mail that we can all look at. Why would you expect privacy on your email or your cell phone or your web browser history or this or that? It's like everything new suddenly isn't grandfathered in under your protection rights. And even if, let's say you trust Obama, right? Let's say that you're so pro-Obama that you think this is fine. You know what? Yeah, so they're reading all my mail. The thing is, Obama's a sweetheart of a guy, and therefore he can read what he wants. Maybe he'll help me by reading some other guy's mail that was going to attack me. That's not the right way to think about it. You need to remember that maybe the next guy you hate is Ted Cruz or something, right? If you're pro-Obama, you might be anti-Ted Cruz. And you say, whoa, this thing that Obama set in place is now going to go to your worst nightmare of a candidate. Because at some point in your life, that guy's going to win. At some point in your life, George Bush is going to be president of the United States, who's pretty much regarded as one of the worst 5 presidents in the history of the United States. At some point, we're going to have another one. Someone maybe even worse than George Bush. And that's the guy that's going to have the rights established by the guy that you trusted. And he's going to use them the wrong way. That's, don't give away your rights freely, because at some point the wrong guy will come.
The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures. They didn't just say persons and houses. Papers and effects. It was clear. There was you got a lot of shit that you can't just. But
right, because fucking Thomas Jefferson didn't mention email. It's not included.
I guess that's the argument made by some people, I suppose. But it's nonsensical, because of course, email is mail. It's in the word, in the name, and we protect our mail. Why shouldn't we protect email? It's just stop trying to leverage fear against me, please. Please stop.
Ooh.
I don't like it.
The article on CNN Politics that I linked for one of our topics has been removed.
Uh-oh.
Brian Schweitzer, I'm going from memory here, I think he was a Republican governor from Montana, maybe, said that when he sees Eric Cantor, who's Eric Cantor? He's a Republican House of Rep guy that just got voted out, maybe?
He was the majority leader.
But
right?
So he's still in office, but he's like a lame duck, right? He's voted out.
Yeah, he lost his position.
He lost his primary, so he's going to lose his position because he's not running anymore. Whoever wins the election that he got knocked out of will retire him. Anyway, Brian Schweitzer said that Eric Cantor sets off his gaydar.
Oh.
He says, and this is what really got me. he said, like, don't get me wrong on this. I'm just saying that Southern men in general are just a little more effeminate, and they have effeminate actions. And when I'm around Eric Cantor, he sets off my gaydar. Really? Is that what you think of when you think of Southern men? Like, I don't consider myself a Southern man. I moved here when I was like a full-grown adult, and while I've assimilated and I've got trucks and guns now, for heck's sakes, I was raised up north. I can
see Kyle is gay, I think.
Yeah, all right, I stand corrected. Yeah, it's a strong point.
I'm open-minded.
Open-minded. I've been in Kyle's bed.
Not what?
Not at the same time?
No. Oh. But I was there. I sat in it. So, but yeah, he says that Southern men are effeminate and gay, and I think of them as almost the opposite. If I was to do a Southern man stereotype, it would be kind of a Bubba, like a guy who eats gravy with too many meals.
Jeremy?
Perhaps someone who could have stayed in school a little bit longer, and higher likelihood of facial hair. Like, that's my Southern stereotype man.
But to be fair, none of those things preclude you from liking dick.
I don't think that you're not going to see more gay people from any group.
But it wasn't liking dick. It was the effeminate thing. And I'm trying to
just the effeminate movements.
I'm trying to draw a picture of what I think of a Southern man, and effeminate's not included in that picture.
Oh yeah, play up if you have the time. Maybe Eric Cantor's the guy with that voice. Let me make sure.
Why do you say something like that?
I need to hear his voice because.
So who was it who said it? Who was it who said it? Supposedly
Barry Schweitzer or something close to that.
Another political guy in Congress?
Yeah, I want to say he was an ex-governor from Montana.
Don't say things like that.
Yeah, I agree with him. This guy, he has a bit of an effeminate.
Really?
I'll link you over. You can.
He sets off your gaydar, does he, Kyle?
Not necessarily, but I can see where he's coming from. It's a little bit.
Take you to the.
Sounds like it's been a while since I tuned up my gaydar. It's not calibrated right.
Now, Milani this year attends first grade.
If you're a political figure in any political realm, why do you say things like this?
And she's a participant in the Louisiana Scholarship Program.
Just don't say anything. You can think he's gay and be like, yeah, in private company, be like, dude, sets off my gaydar. Totally.
The thing about it is that Eric Cantor is the conservative, and that the one who's making what's a pretty shitty remark, a pretty prejudiced remark, is the Democrat.
It's Brian Schweitzer. Oh, he is a Democrat. You're right.
Yeah, it's this is something that you would expect the other way around, like some Republican calling out some Democrat as being
like to joke
homosexual.
that it used to be, if a guy had like effeminate movements, limp wrists, six-pack abs, that was the picture of a gay guy, right? Now the new picture of a gay guy is a person who, I don't know, he's Republican, he passes anti-gay legislation, he runs on a family values platform. If you see that, he probably likes the cock.
Yep, his wife is maybe a little butch.
Yeah.
Maybe looks a little bit like Hillary Clinton.
Or he stars in a movie called Grease, learns to fly, and then starts loving Scientology.
Oh.
Who are we talking about?
Travolta's a closet homosexual.
Travolta.
Yeah, he was the guy that petitioned the male masseuse for a little happy ending, right? Was that him?
Look.
You're gonna judge.
His son
if you're
just had
looking for a
died.
hand job, who's more likely to be good at it?
And he's a masseuse. He probably had the oils there handy too.
Right. Just come on, dude. Hook a brother up.
I don't like that. I don't like when these.
Not that there's anything wrong with being gay.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong.
Saying it, I'm implying that there's something wrong with being gay.
Of course not. I'm not saying you are. But the one thing I hate even more than that is those people who fucking go with all the anti-gay legislation, and then they themselves turn out to be like tapping their foot in a bathroom stall somewhere trying to get a hand job from a dude, in a bus stop. That happened. That's a real thing.
Right. If you want a hand job from a dude in a bus stop, you need to be passing pro-gay legislation.
Yeah, to make that legal so you won't get arrested next time. You know what his excuse was?
He's a wide stance. He has a wide pooping stance.
He has a wide stance when he defecates. That's why his foot was in the other man's stall tapping a code.
Apparently, I'm not really well versed on bathroom stall etiquette, but that is a code for, like, it's a proposition. And there was a sting operation that there were police there waiting for people to do this.
Really?
Yeah, and he's like, no, when I go potty, I tend to put my feet in the nearby stalls and tap.
Well, it's a power stance. It's a power move. Like when you go for the guitar solo, you got to get in that stance.
Dude, I've never had my feet in
the
the adjacent stalls ever. I exist in my own vertical slice.
I've been in one of those stalls before and thought about this story, and I was like, let's check this out. Let's see just how wide you got to get. And I got really long legs. I wear like a 34-inch pant.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult. It's uncomfortable, and it feels like stretching, like in your I don't know what that tendon is, but in your groin, like the ends, your inner thigh, whatever that tendon is.
Your groin. Yeah, that's
your
groin.
It's a stretch.
Yeah.
It's a stretch. It's
For people who don't know, like under your penis, the curved thing that is like between your legs, that is your groin. And when you hear about hockey players or basketball players pulling their groin, it is that curved thing at the very top of your leg where it meets your taint. That's your groin.
That's also apparently there's an operation to make your penis longer. What they do, they go in there, disconnect that thing, feed a little bit more up through there, and then reconnect it. Although sometimes it doesn't go well, and you never get
never get your penis back.
You're never able to get hard again, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or maybe it's a little weird.
So wait, how does this operation work?
Basically, they go down there to your taint area, and they disconnect the muscle from everything else, and they just feed a little bit more up through there, and literally make your penis longer.
They really need to,
they unravel some more hose. They go to the reel and get a little more.
I feel for guys that have a micro penis. Like, that would be rough.
Oh my god, right?
Because so I read on Reddit, and there are some girls who don't like it, but other girls are like, yeah, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. But to every guy with a micro penis, I think it's a pretty big deal. I think they have, it's just, it defines them. It hurts their feelings. It's part of their sense of identity. It's a big deal to have a micro penis, and it would be nice if, they could boost penis size as easily as they could lips with collagen injections or something. Nice, safe penis size enlargement.
I don't think there's nothing like that. I promise.
Have you done your research?
I researched a lot of topics like that, because I remember someone talking about like swearing up and down that they had gotten some of that cream that they rubbed on their dick, and they're like, yeah, dude, it's totally 3 inches. And I'm just like, I don't believe you. I'm going to do some research now and prove that you're a liar with science, so I don't have to look at your dick. I did.
Tried it, but there's a cream that desensitizes you, right? It makes you last longer.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Yes, there is.
I thought you named it.
No.
Oh. But wouldn't that desensitize her? I mean, I'm no doctor, but if it's on me, it's getting on her. I don't know how that works.
Research.
You were Googling it?
Yeah, I'm on this now.
A nickel for your search history.
So let's see. Do penis desensitizing creams affect women?
While you're searching that, I remember, I forget what it was. It was like 6 months ago or something. Jackie wanted to use my laptop. And I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? And she's like, it's borrowing your laptop, doing some Google searches. I'm like, that's a man's laptop right there. You don't just grab those and use it. You Google search and shit. You don't know what you'll find. That's a man's laptop. And you never know. You just don't.
Yes, it can be transferred over to the woman. It appears that they're often benzocaine based, and yeah, that does transfer over to the woman because it's just a
it's like a lotion, I think.
yeah, it's it's a topical anesthetic, basically. So I guess what you would have to do to not have that happen is you would have to apply this stuff and then put a condom on.
Ooh.
Which sounds like the worst sex ever.
I guess if
you're enjoy, my lady.
If you're a premature guy, though, that double take might help you go.
Why wouldn't you just get a sex toy at that point, and then you could please her, and then if you only last a minute, then you only last a minute. Who cares?
It seems like it would work.
I'm certainly not going to rub benzocaine on my cock and then put a condom on. That seems insane. And what if like something's going wrong down there and you can't feel it? like what?
Oh yeah, imagine that. Like
what if you break your dick somehow? Like you miss a stroke and you like stab her and like the taint with your dick or something and it breaks literally.
Apparently,
which can happen.
Reverse cowgirl is the dangerous position.
Yeah.
That shit scares me.
Yeah.
Grown woman bouncing around like.
What if it's a big? What if it was a large woman too?
Any sized woman. Seriously, let's take a little woman, right? She only weighs 85 pounds. More than enough.
I could take it.
She just comes springing off. She's bouncing. She goes in the wrong way. And your Johnson shoots her off. Away she goes. I like it. We need a new topic, and I don't have many more. The next one I have is also politics based, but I'm not sure it's about how Eric Cantor lost his election.
Oh, how about the Pope condemns efforts to legalize marijuana?
Condemns?
Yeah, he's against it. Fuck the new Pope.
Oh, now you're against him, Kyle. Now
I really want marijuana to be legalized. It's worldwide, so it's one because to me the main reason is I see how much money is being spent to fight something that's so pointless. So much money is being wasted. I hate wasted money. I hate the government wasting my money on bullshit that I don't care about. And if you I've said it before. If on your tax documents there was like a checklist of things that you wanted to approve your money being used to fund. If there was a box next to something that said, make sure that nobody ever uses a drug that has no dangerous side effects and has never killed anyone and is mostly just a recreational drug, much less dangerous than hundreds of legal drugs.
That's a slightly biased questionnaire you come up with, but carry on.
I read a thing the other day. I read a detailed report that said marijuana doesn't cause any lung damage whatsoever.
Really?
Yes, in depth. And
I've read
of course,
reports to the opposite.
There's no scientific basis to those reports.
That just doesn't seem possible. I bet if I don't, but like if you were to pull marijuana smoke through a filter, you'd find there was all sorts of tarry, junky stuff.
And it's bad for your lungs to breathe superheated air, is it not? Like that's just
there are many ways to use marijuana that don't involve breathing any superheated air.
That's true.
You can literally have a marijuana enema. Okay, like there are plenty of ways to use marijuana. Don't involve any hot gases going in your lungs. No tars, none of that.
I sometimes ask myself if I'd try it if it were legal. Like, it's funny. The one way that seems most palatable to consume marijuana is edibles. But what I've read about it is the experience is like among the worst. First of all, apparently when they make edibles, they don't make them in human-sized like portions. Like for example, when I eat a brownie, I eat a whole freaking brownie. But an edible brownie will knock you on your... No, you're supposed to take an eighth of a brownie. Who the hell eats an eighth of a brownie? Not me.
It depends who's making them, from what I understand. I think you could make some that were really weak.
These are the ones that you buy at the store.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yes.
And the hash oil can get really illegal. There's that kid that's facing 99 years in prison because marijuana is its own charge, but hash oil Is that it?
So the thing is that in the particular state that he's in, what he did is he made marijuana a baked good with marijuana. Whether it was brownies or whatever, it doesn't matter. But what they're saying is that once you've contaminated this stuff with the THC, they weighed the whole tray of brownies.
Oh, come on.
And he had made a lot of brownies. They weighed all of his brownies, and it came to a lot. It came to like pounds. And they're like, oh, well, you're trafficking pounds of an illegal drug. And it's like, no, he started with like half an ounce of an illegal drug, and he cooked it down in oil until he had some THC oil, and then he combined it with his brownies instead of vegetable oil, and he was just trying to get his buddies a little high. That's
This is a great way to do law enforcement, right? Like, well, that marijuana was in your car, so that's 2 tons of an illegal substance.
Yeah,
Since
exactly.
We're just weighing the car.
That's like putting a drop of alcohol in a 55-gallon barrel. I'm like, oh, you can't move across interstate lines with 55 gallons of alcoholic liquid.
Alcoholic water. What was I going to say? So I was going to say, if I was to try marijuana, you'd think an edible would be the way to go, but apparently it's really slow acting and difficult to get away from, and it also would last for a very long time. Who's the chick that, like, I think she tried an edible, ate way too much, and vlogged it as like the world's worst experience? She went to Colorado.
I've never seen that.
Who was it?
Know.
You don't know? Oh man. Shucks.
I know I know they make like lollipops and stuff. I would think that would be like the beginner's way, so that you could 1 lick, 2 licks, 3 licks, and maybe that way you don't get carried away.
You've heard of her, right?
Hi, already.
You know Maureen Dowd? She was like on CNN. She's a New York Times columnist, and she published a piece in the New York Times about her bad trip from marijuana edibles. And she had a caramel chocolate candy bar, but she didn't read the instructions. She spent 8 hours hallucinating and paranoid before she finally came down. 8 hours. Now, if you just smoke it, how long does pot last?
Couple hours, I think.
2, like ish. Not 8.
From what I've heard, not 8. Certainly not 8. It's about from inside sources about an hour.
About an hour. All right. If you're leaving a comment, or if you're watching this video and maybe you have some expertise in this area, leave a comment. I'd be interested in getting backup opinions. But, all right. So Maureen Dowd, I think it's pronounced. Her trip lasted 8 hours, which I guess is really long. And the mistake she made was that she ate too much. She started eating a little of this candy bar, didn't feel anything. Right away, she ate more, and she ended up downing the entire candy bar. And I don't know why edibles companies aren't getting hip to this. Like, dude, if you want to sell it for a lot, but make it into human-sized portions. A candy bar should be a dose, not like 16 doses or 8 doses or something ridiculous like that. So apparently, her being a marijuana rookie, downed the entire candy bar, had a bad trip, hallucinated for 8 hours, etc. And all the marijuana pros, these people who are experienced in doing it, are laughing at how stupid she was to take it the way she took it. It takes a while for you can go an hour or more and not know that it's going to start working. And in that period, people often consume more, thinking that they're tolerant or who knows what. But she had a bad trip, and so apparently edibles are not the way to try this, which means
I don't think that's the noob way to get into marijuana.
It's too bad because it seems like the most noob friendly, like a brownie.
I don't know. The weed enema doesn't sound that bad.
Really, it sounds awful to me. I totally don't want a weed enema.
You get high and you get a little clean down there. I mean, it's the best of both worlds.
I didn't mean enema. I meant suppository.
Oh, well, that just changes the game.
Now I'm down.
Yeah.
So
I guess you could like melt the butter and make that, and that would just be gross, though. That sounds awful. So, the vaporizers, it's a vapor and not a smoke, because, they set the temperature to it an exact degree that's going to vaporize.
What does a vaporizer look like? Is it like a big genie in a bottle type contraption,
There's
or is
a bunch
it like
of
an
different ones. So you can
e-cig?
get a vapor pen that looks like that even looks like an inhaler, like you've got asthma. You can get one that looks like an asthma inhaler. You can get them that look like those e-cigarettes. You can get them that are a big box that sit there and have a digital dial and a hose that come out of them, and attachments. And I remember I was watching that documentary, Super High Me, and he had the Volcano, which is apparently like the top of the line one. It's like the whole kit's like $400 or $500.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you put ground marijuana in it. You attach what looks like a turkey bag to it. You push a button. It fills this bag up with the vapor, and the bag has like a nipple on it that you inhale through. That's like a valve, and you've got a big bag full of vapor that you could just inhale at your leisure.
Just walking around with your bag of marijuana vapor like that.
Well, I guess you would sit on your couch and smoke your big bag of marijuana vapor
And eat your Doritos.
I'd go places with it.
I don't know. See, on one hand, I feel like I'm out of my depth when I talk about pot. On the other hand, I feel like everybody just kind of knows but doesn't admit that it's the opposite of Adderall, right? If Adderall makes you just want to get shit done, pot makes you okay with not doing it.
I think it depends on. I think there's different. There's a couple of different kinds. There's like an indica and a sativa. So one's a more high energy experience, and one's more of a downer, melt you into the couch type experience.
I know I've known some guys, Woody, now this is not pot, but when they get drunk, they want to do a whole ton of shit. Like, let's go do this. And it's like, really? Are you sure? Like, yeah, man. All right. And then they're stealing shit and breaking things. But
before long, you're streaking. I follow.
It's usually bad, but they do want to do stuff.
You should go to Colorado.
I don't want to.
Well, that should be where we do our like mancation at. That's where we should survive at.
That's where we should do a. Never mind. We'll talk about that next week.
Yes, the thing that we talked about earlier. Yeah,
that's where we should go for maybe not the first one.
Denver.
I don't know if I want to co-sign on this. I know what your motives are.
Well, the thing I would like, the only thing that I would like about marijuana usage as a recreational drug is it's the escape of alcohol without the short-term and long-term downsides. Long-term being, liver cirrhosis and all those things, and short-term being hangovers. I hate hangovers.
You're not
whatever
unique
hangovers
in that regard.
are. They're awful. They're just the most awful thing, and I don't think pot has those.
Yeah, I'm not a big pot guy, but I have drank too much, and hangovers are just they're hard to live through.
I've only been hungover once.
Really?
You try to do normal stuff, and you just hate yourself, and you hate every fiber of yourself. It's awful.
There's the being sick drunk thing, right? Now that's before a hangover. That's not considered the hangover. When you're clutching to the grass, vomiting, and there is some acute, terrible hangoverness. But then there's the sort of drained, low energy, yucky feeling hangover that lasts until 3 p.m. that day. Drinking on Saturday night ruins your Sunday. For a lot of people, there are some people who are seasoned drinkers, and yeah.
I found that if you get a little tipsy and then go to bed, you'll be fine.
Especially if you drink a glass of water.
Right, but usually that's not what ends it, because at tipsy, you think, oh, I'm just a little tipsy, I can have more to drink.
If 3 is good, 6 is awesome.
Woody has seen this firsthand with me.
Yes, and Kyle has seen me nail it. I nailed it at the in Killington. I was tipsy, I was silly, my face was slightly numb. I cut it there, and everything went as it should.
Yeah, I didn't get out of hand there. I stayed sober there.
Mm-hmm.
But the Woody has seen me. Yeah, on the paintball trips, I usually get to drinking. People buy me drinks when I go to bars a lot.
That's true.
I don't have to pay for alcohol usually, and
he almost. I'm sorry to cut you off,
Go ahead.
but we've talked about it. There's like an obligation. People will buy him vodka for some strange reason, probably because he's friends with Russia.
Fucking hate vodka. Let me just let you guys want to buy me a shot. I want tequila. I want Patron. Okay, if you're gonna buy me a shot, I want Patron. If you're gonna buy me a beer, I want a Dos Equis in the green bottle.
But that's not what they buy him. They
That's not
say,
what they buy
hey,
him.
this guy's an associate of FPS Russia. He would probably like some vodka.
Yeah, they want to pour me a big glass of Russian Standard, and I mean a glass. They want to make it happen. They want to. It's absolute vodka, and I can't stress how much I despise vodka.
But he's under social pressure to drink this.
Yeah, and once they've purchased it, that's the thing about buying someone a drink. They've already purchased this thing for you, and the offer of it is, it's both materialistic and it's symbolic. The offering of a drink. There's something very old school about buying someone a drink.
It's a big
can't
deal.
turn it away.
It's a big deal to them. To them, it's like it's a highlight. Like, yes,
Had a drink with that guy.
FPS Kyle a drink. I've always wanted to get this guy a drink. It's we're about to bond over this gift that I gave him. And what do you say?
Bottoms up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at paintball and the last paintball trip, I told people what I wanted. They'd ask what I wanted most of the time, though I did end up with some Jameson. But
is that a vodka?
No, it's Irish whiskey.
Okay.
I just don't like it. There's not too many things that I like drinking anymore because I often, when I start drinking, I can't stop and I'll drink to excess and vomit. And the things that I have gotten drunk off of and vomited from in the past are now like a big turnoff for me. So like prom. So prom night, junior year of high school. Go to this party. And they had, this girl's dad was very wealthy and had a really nice basement, like a big game room, and they actually had a slushy machine like you would find or a Slurpee machine like you'd find in a gas station. And I just dumped the whole big bottle of Mr. Boston vodka right into that son of a bitch, and it was just so strong, and I was just chugging that stuff all night, and I was vomiting all night from that stuff. And it was funny. I ended up playing poker with that guy for money, like her father, many years later, like 8 years later. And he recognized me at the table. He's like, I remember you. You almost died in my bathroom one night about 8 or 9 years ago. And I'm like, yeah, Aubrey, I appreciate you coming with that water and those soda crackers. Because like him and his wife, like come in the bathroom, and there my little ass is fucking 16 years old, dying in his bath, maybe 15 or 16, something like that. But since then, I've gotten drunk and sick off of several other liquors, and those are now turnoffs. Tequila, I can handle very, very well, though, most of the time. But last paintball trip, totally ended up vomiting on the side of the car.
Yes. And Joe is still mad at me because I ruined a picture of it.
It was awful. It was really bad. I don't drink much anymore. I try. I don't remember the last time I got drunk. I think it may be paintball. Paintball might be the last time I got drunk. That's a couple years.
Yeah, drunk is I don't know where to define drunk.
It's not fun for me.
That Killington trip, I was.
You were very buzzed. Yeah,
I was buzzed.
Yourself. You shouldn't be driving for sure.
I shouldn't be driving. That's fair. But I also wasn't sloppy in any way. I didn't say things I regret. It just is actually the perfect alcohol experience.
Yeah, you did well, and it seemed like we were drinking like it was like 4 Loco and 5-hour energy drink mixed together.
Yeah,
that'll get you going.
Yes, it will.
Epic Mealtime doesn't mess around when they drink.
No, I cannot party with those guys. I am just not on their level.
They have a good time.
Those guys are they're elite tier, right? I'm development league. They're NBA.
So if you're gonna buy me a drink, like I want a really girly drink. I want something that's got some sugar in it, some fruit. And Woody's the same way. I remember like.
You might consider a strawberry daiquiri. That's good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Like pina colada, something.
Pina colada, nice one.
A frozen drink, something like that.
Yeah.
That gingerbread martini we had that time was pretty good.
Yeah, if it looks like a rainbow on the menu, it's probably good.
Literally, where was that? We were getting those drinks that literally was like 3. It was like red, white, and blue. I mean, you weren't there.
I was there.
Dave and Buster's, I know, has them.
This was something different, though. It was like Lone Star Class or Ruby Tuesday or something like that. It was in Georgia. I remember we took that RAV4 that eventually got blown up in a video?
Probably a Ruby Tuesday then.
Oh yeah.
Probably Ruby Tuesday, something like that.
I wish Lefty were here to help. My next topic is cell phones. I've been looking forward to the Amazon Fire for, I guess, just weeks now, not months or anything.
So were you let down by the?
Not as much as the rest of the internet. So most people. All right, here's the deal. I was especially excited about the Amazon Fire. This is a new cell phone that was just announced because I'm especially happy with my Kindle. I have a Kindle e-reader. It's also called I think it's the Fire HDX, whatever the top one is. That's the one I got. And the screen is amazing. It's really bright. It's really clear. Like, you know how maybe on your computer monitor you can read well, but look, it's not as good as a book. And if you were to shrink your computer monitor font to as small as book print, you'd find it more difficult to read. It's because books print at like 600 DPI, dots per inch. And a computer monitor, you're lucky if you hit 3. Actually, a computer monitor is like 194, and a cell phone screens usually hover around 300. So anyway, I was so happy with my Kindle that I thought the Fire phone would be awesome. And I saw the Fire phone. The 3D feature, some people don't like it. I thought there were some cool things in there. The whole like browser navigation by tilting and flipping the wrist and stuff. Most people are like, this sucks. It's going to tire my wrist out. And in my opinion, like, really? My wrist wouldn't be tired by tilting my phone. Like, that's not exhausting to me. So I really liked the things that they did. It has a hardware button that lets you buy things. Like, you could take that hardware button, point it at your friend's mouse, and it will link you to that thing on Amazon. And apparently it works really well. You can point it at a phone number, and it will call it. And I was like, I really like that. And I feel like a lot of cell phone companies have gotten a little cheap with their buttons. They're all soft buttons. They have like volume and maybe one more on the side. Amazon, I think it has more than that, like 4 or something like that. That's kind of cool. I like the 3D. I like the built-in button for how to pick things and buy it. And if it works well as a phone and a browser and stuff, I'm cool with it. I had hoped that their modified version of Android would play almost all Android apps, and it doesn't. It's like 1 in 5. So that was a pretty serious holdback to me. One of the things it's missing in particular is the Google Maps, and like that's a big deal. Like Google Maps is one of the primary things I use my phone for, and it doesn't do that. It has its own mapping app, and its own mapping app looked incredible. It looked really, really good. But I saw the Apple mapping app, and it looked really good, and it could do things that Google Maps couldn't do. And I immediately made a video saying, I don't know why everyone's ragging on this Apple map thing. It looks fantastic. And then the next day I used it, and it sent me doing loops around blocks, like literally passing, like retracing steps as I'm doing laps. And I was like, this thing sucks so bad. And it has you make turns that aren't there, and it was out of date. And so I'm just cautious that Amazon actually got maps right out of the gate when Apple didn't, so I'm sketchy on it, not including the Google suite of stuff. And then the biggest thing to me was the 720 screen. Right now I have a 1080p screen, 5-inch. 720 at 4.7 inches might be a step down that I regret.
Yeah. I would want them to go the other way, right? I'd want to see more 1440, whatever.
I was hoping for a bigger and badder phone from Amazon. Amazon's entry into the market, I was hoping would be a little bit bigger.
I think 4.7 or 5 inches is perfect. I think 1080p is perfect. I think there's one phone out there, I forget the model number, that has 1440p. I don't think you can see a difference. I really don't. And I've read so much, and everything says that humans, at the distances you see a phone, you have to have like 20 by 5 vision, like something really extraordinary to see a pixel. And when you add those extra pixels, you drain battery life. So, it doesn't come for free. Maybe at 720, I personally wouldn't notice the difference, but I would notice the extra life in battery. I don't know. But
that's what I want. I want battery power. I want 36 hours of continuous use, like hard use. I want to be able to like running that thing at its peak performance. Like I want it to be hot in my hand for days. That's what I want. I want battery, and that shouldn't be laughable, and it is. It is laughable based on current models, but it shouldn't be, right? Because you can use I bet there are other electronic devices that run on batteries that can do stuff like that, and it's just not advancing. Cell phone batteries have been virtually the same for way too long. Everything else is advancing. We need better batteries.
I would give up speed for it. Like, apparently they're running the 800 series of Snapdragon when the 801 is out, and I don't care. I don't even know what processor's in my S4. My phones have always been quick enough, and when I upgrade to the next great phone, I never really say like, oh my god, web pages are so much quicker, apps run better. They don't. They're all good. My phones seem fine. So I would give up a little, I guess I was going to say CPU, but I think it's APU in a phone. I would give up a little of that processing power in exchange for battery life. Like that's.
I would certainly like. Someone recently told me that there was some option to do this, perhaps on my current phone or the next gen phone. I want a super low power button, power conservation button. I want to turn every fucking thing off. All I want to work is text messaging, and you know, I want to be able to lower to that if that's my goal.
If you don't know, turning off Wi-Fi and GPS makes a huge difference.
Oh yeah, of course I do that, but still, you know, it's if I'm
screen brightness too tends to.
Yeah, I do all those things, and I turn on the power saving mode that I have an S4. I think I said S5 earlier, but it's an S4. And I turn on the power saving mode, and yet if Reddit is probably my biggest battery eater, so it's not like I'm doing work necessarily. But you know, if I'm killing time, let's say I like to be places early, so I'll often get somewhere an hour early and sit in a parking lot. An hour will just eat through the phone, and I'm just like watching the battery tick down.
It's not a phone, so I just want to touch on the topic. I love my MacBook Air because of the opposite reason. The batteries. I've never had a notebook that actually went 12 and 14 hours all the time, and then it charges in one. And don't forget the other thing. You can use it for 7 hours, and it charges in 30 minutes. That is ridiculous.
That's really nice.
It's like magic.
The iPad has one hell of a battery as well.
Does it?
My iPad, I'll charge that thing up. I don't have it anymore. I'll charge that thing up, and days will go by of sitting there watching YouTube videos for hours at a time. I don't know what the actual life is. I've never tested it, but it's so long that charging it is not a regular thing.
Right. That's how my notebook is. I don't charge it every day. Not every day.
In a car, right?
Yeah. You just kind of oh yeah, look, it's at 36%. I'll give it a touch up, and it's at 145 minutes, and you're good. And then you're good for a couple days. It's really, really cool. But back on the phone thing, I guess the iPhone 6 is the next one I'll look at. A lot of people are telling me to get an Android. Get this the HTC One is a real popular one. The Nexus 5 is a real popular one. But I have an S4, and I don't feel like those are upgrades. I think they're all peers. I'm kind of waiting.
Get the 6.
What's that?
I'm gonna get the iPhone 6. Unless any of the competitors at all come out with high-speed video. High-speed video is the coolest thing that's on a phone.
Are you talking about capturing it? Somehow I was stuck on playing it.
Yeah, I'm talking about capturing it. So the iPhone 5S has, I think it'll do 120 frames per second, and that's really, really nice. I don't know if you've ever played with it, if you've ever had fun with it, but it's hours of fun. It literally is.
Yeah. So for people that don't know, YouTube plays at 30 frames per second. So you could capture on an iPhone a 3-second clip, and then it would play back in 12 seconds, and that makes a big difference. Or even a little longer, you can stretch it to 24 frames per second or so, and it still looks pretty smooth. So, yeah, that makes a big deal. I have a friend, what does my video camera do? I think it does 960 frames per second or something like that. And, you think
At what resolution?
1080p. It's a $10,000 camera. But, what was I going to say? You think 8 seconds of video. It only does 8 seconds at a time unless it costs another $10,000 to get unlimited high speed.
I guess it's the deal is, it's always recording and always buffering, and then it's an end. So let's say you were going to record the dog shaking off. You would wait until the dog was done shaking, and then you'd press the stop button.
It actually has all those modes. You can initiate it from the start. You can initiate it at the stop, and I think there's a third, although I can't imagine what it is off the top of my head. But yeah, you can start it, which is usually what I do. I sync the start. But you can also, just record, and then when, let's say you've got a shotgun shell in a microwave, and you don't know exactly when it's gonna blow. You can just record the whole time, and then once it stops, you hit end, and the last 8 seconds do its thing. But when you do 8 seconds and it's that much faster, all of a sudden it plays back in 2 minutes, and you're like, this is actually too much footage. You have to speed it up or cut it to just the interesting thing.
Yeah, high-speed cameras are cool.
Mm-hmm. It is.
But I hope that technology gets cheaper.
Even the one I have, apparently, it's really only good for human speed things. If you, I hope I don't have I think I have the 960s right, but I'm not sure it's 960 at 1080p. It might be 240 at 1080p, or I'm not positive. But it'll do a really good job. If you throw, say, a drinking glass with sand in it and hit it with a baseball bat, that'll look amazing. Those things happen in human time. If I throw, I don't know, if I drop water in something, it'll capture that really well, because the water falls, gravity, things like that happen at human time. But chemical reaction time, like a bullet flying through the air or an explosion, that stuff is still the explosion is instant, and you kind of miss it. It's not a slow-mo explosion, but the debris, it'll catch that. So it's close, but it's not the dream.
Yeah, you've got to go to something that's much more expensive. You're 6 figures by the time you get into capturing bullets in the air.
You're right. It's 6 figures, and then 6 more for the lens.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
I know. Richard Ryan was on a video shoot the other day, and he's got let's just call his camera $500,000, and
it's a lot.
Guy backed over it.
No.
Guy backed over it. And the guy he gets out and he's like, shit, how much do I owe you? And Richard's he's like, how much is that camera? He's like, about $527,000. And the guy's just like, oh God. But apparently it didn't destroy the camera. It broke the viewfinder, the lens, and maybe something else. And it ended up costing $12 grand for the broken bits that were on it, and all it got just got knocked over onto a hard surface, banged up a bit, but it's a $12,000 fender bender.
Oh my gosh! And
I wasn't there, but they said, I was like, how did he take it? And they're like, he took it really well.
Lost him a $500,000 camera. He did all right with it.
Oh, he's got it insured, of course, but
yeah.
But the guy just paid for it, who backed over it, because he was
in a position where it was okay.
He was in a position where he could do that sort of thing and not, it wasn't the end of the world at all. And he was the guy who was in charge of the thing that was going on that required Richard to be there anyway. He was kind of the guy in charge.
I see.
It wasn't if some flunky had done it, you'd have just beat him to death.
Yeah, in the South, there's this concept of make it right. Right, and when I first heard it, I was like, "Make it right." I don't understand how can something that happened bad be made right. And now I kind of like it. It's look. By the time this transaction is over, you'll feel like you're taken care of. Just you can hold me to it. Whatever, I'll make this right. And the guy made it right, I guess. Look, I'm sorry, I'll make this right. And he in the end, the guy's got whatever, a semi-new camera, viewfinder, etc. All repaired. Yep. So
what have you guys bought in the Steam summer sale, if anything, gearing up for PKA plays?
I haven't bought anything, but
this is your first one, isn't it?
Yes, I saw you guys' recommendations. I'm probably gonna pick up a few different things. Somebody just gifted me. Actually, let me since you brought it up.
If you don't know them, don't accept it.
Really?
If you don't know them, don't accept it.
So I have this link. Let me show you what the link looks like, and maybe that
Lefty,
will...
can you tell me more about that? What are the dangers of getting gifted something?
If they gift you a game and you accept it, and they do a chargeback on their credit card, Steam follows the chargeback or the game all the way through. So that game is taken out of your inventory immediately, and you run the risk of your Steam account being frozen or even banned.
Oh, well, that's not scary. I was afraid of some way that this guy also included a really nice paragraph. He's a fan, and he said I'll read his thing here. I'm sure he wouldn't mind it. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me using his. He was on the Reddit. He said, just giving away some games on Reddit. Here's one for you since you just got into PC gaming. Gary's Mod defines the PC genre for its freedom of modding and community support. I think I heard one of you guys wants to play this, so here you go. Have fun. Kind regards, and fuck Kyle.
Oh, so it was a humble bundle thing. Okay, that might muddy the waters. You can send gifts through Steam, like I've done for you, Kyle. Those few games, Speedrunners and Rising Storm, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. That is a well-known scam on Steam. Is how they get your account banned or whatever.
Okay,
but it just sucks because then your library is completely shut out.
But this thing here, this looks legit to you. There's no way this could be something bad.
Yeah,
that stinks. I was trying to figure out what Steam's because at WoodyCraft we have a similar issue, but it's not even a WoodyCraft thing. Like if I buy you a thing, and then I charge back on that, like we don't even know that it wasn't you that bought it in the first place. Like as far as we're concerned, it was purchased under your account. You used this thing, you did it. Like if I accepted, like that was a gift, then it's not even me accepting it. This is the way that Buycraft works, which all Minecraft servers use, or almost all. They just say, like, all right, Lefty's IGN. Let's pretend it's Lefty. They had a chargeback on it, and it sort of ruined your name. And if you have too many chargebacks on your account, then just suddenly everyone stops accepting purchases from you. You're kind of banned from every Minecraft server. So I'm like, well, why does Steam do that? And they probably have the same issue that the Buycraft developers have, which is, well, how do I know it wasn't you? Like maybe you just bought yourself a gift, and if there was this loophole where you gift yourself stuff, then you'd be able to charge back anything you wanted and just steal things. Mm-hmm. And to Steam, it doesn't really make a difference to them if you associate with thieves or if you are a thief. The effect is the same. And it sucks. It sucks that chargebacks are such a big deal.
So back to the Steam sale and the things we got. I haven't picked up anything. What would you recommend we get, Lefty? And follow up to that, what have we decided to play for PK Plays this week?
Sunday, I don't know if we've decided on anything yet. I think we're leaning towards perhaps I know Chiz and you have been doing you all gang up on a deity level AI. And I think that could be fun, where we're all working together instead of either on teams or trying to fend off one another.
I don't know if it's more fun to watch, but it's totally more fun to play.
Oh, it's so fun to play.
And I think that'll show through. If we're having a lot of fun playing, a lot of people might have more fun watching.
Somebody asked me, like, Woody, what do you have to say about your horrible and positively grumpy performance in Civilizations? And it's like, what do I have to say? Like, I was attacked before I built the military, and it was an absolutely terrible time. There was nothing even remotely fun about the entire experience. It sucked from beginning to end, and I was grateful when it ended. Kyle, even though you were absolutely horrible to me in that game, you did do something nice for me. You didn't drag it out. And I appreciate that.
I didn't leave you crippled to die. I finished you off.
I fought to the last second. I don't know if you know, but I had a settler on the bank. I was one move away from getting another city founded, which you probably would have stomped all over that one too. But I definitely didn't throw the match. I was right there trying my best. But when my best fell short, I was like, oh, good. Now I can stop this nightmare and do something different.
So Civilization has 8 different difficulty levels, and the most difficult one is Deity. And on that level, as you can imagine, at some point you can't just say, okay, we'll just make the AI smarter. We'll make it make better decisions. Eventually, it's making as good of a decision as it can make. So they give it production bonuses and they just make it better. They just make them have tools that you just don't have, which is incredibly difficult to beat. They're also really talented at strategy. If there's just no way that they can beat you culturally, then they won't try to. They'll beat you with their religion. They can't beat you with religion, but they'll push religion hard. They're very smart and wily. Chiz and I played 2 versus 1. We got on team number 1. On team number 2 we put a shitty civilization. I think the Songhai Dynasty, or maybe one of the Native American tribes or something like that. And we whipped its ass. It took a while. It took 2 days to do it. Probably an 8-hour game. but we waited until we had big armies, and we just beat the shit out of it. Then we tried to play against a good civilization. We tried to play against England.
Ooh.
It beat us, and we still don't even know how. The game just ended. It said exit to the main menu. You lost, and we're just like, what the fuck? But at that moment, I knew we were doomed anyway. Like before it even said that, because first of all,
here's where he's gonna blame it all on Chiz. You watch him.
No, Chiz was actually doing better than I was. Chiz had maybe 1,200 points, and I had maybe 1,000 points, and then the AI had like 2,500 or something like that. But that's bullshit score. It's not a very good accumulation of what we're actually doing. But anyway, I'm trying to think what its stats were. So I had 3 cities. Chiz had 2 or 3 cities, and we had lots of population. That was the thing, and that's called building tall. That's called playing tall. So we've got tall cities with lots of population, lots of buildings in them. England was playing wide. England had 12 cities. England City, and they had a huge military. And despite the fact that Chiz and I research science, our science efforts are literally combined. So my civilization was making 250 science, his was making 300 science or whatever. So that's a lot of science that we're combining for. Still, the AI was like 50, 60 turns ahead of us in science. It beat the fuck out of us. So I think that even 4 versus 1, it would still be a game. And
all right.
It's really, really difficult. And
who are we going to trounce? What civilization are we absolutely just going to destroy? The Irish, maybe?
I'll get online and I'll see who the absolute strongest civilization is. We're probably going to play against...
who you want to destroy.
We're probably going to play against China or maybe Alexander the Great. He's pretty good. Maybe Japan. Maybe somebody like that. We'll pick the best civilization that we can come up with, the most difficult AI to play against, and 4v1
them.
Yeah.
All right. So Kyle, you were asking about games. Right now, just off the top of my head, Battlefield Bad Company 2 is only $9.99. I think we could play that, get some multiplayer stuff, and just have fun. And it's a fun game, BFPC 2, and it's still active. Also, Counter-Strike Source is only $9.99, so you can finally get the textures for Gary's mod.
It's so annoying not to have them.
Killing Floor is $9.99. That's a fun game. It's like Left 4 Dead, but more wave defense than, say, progressing through a level. There's Dead Island Riptide, $9.99 right now. Borderlands 2, $9.99. I think we could play that. Woody likes it.
I just want to check. I love that game. I'm not sure it's good for PKA plays. It doesn't easily break down into episodes to me. And if you ever try it, you'll find the characters probably talk more than you remember. And if you do a Let's Play, like a general rule of thumb is you don't talk over the characters. Like if they have dialogue, you need to do their thing. You'd be surprised just how freaking often the characters talk.
Right, the handsome Jack is talking at you on the radio, and
then they just go on for like 90 seconds at a time. And some of the missions will be like collect tapes from around the thing that tell the story. So it's like, all right, every time you find an artifact, it's talking for like 2 minutes. And anyway, Borderlands 2, I love the game, but it talks more than you might guess.
And also Far Cry 3 is 75% off at $7.49. That has a 4-player co-op. It's actually like a campaign.
Really? I have Far Cry 3. I paid like full price for that, and I got like the DLC, and I haven't even installed it yet.
It is a beautiful game.
I've heard of that.
It's oh my god, on PC it's amazing. It's good on console. I mean, to say what you want about what I want about consoles and how awful their graphics are, but like games like Grand Theft Auto 5 and Far Cry 3, even on console, did an amazing job of hiding whatever deficiencies the console had, and it did a good job of being like, oh my god, this is beautiful, even for a system that has 512 megabytes of RAM and some awful CPU. So it looked really good. So Far Cry 3, there's not anything really on flash sales right now. Remind me, I want to get Kyle into DayZ. Also, DayZ is 25. It's 15% off. That's pretty much all you're gonna get.
I haven't bought anything on Steam sale yet. I'm waiting for you to tell me. I don't know.
I feel bad like spending your money for you. Like, Woody, go buy this. Woody, go buy that. I got a thing. It's like weird.
Can you get over that? Because I really need a purchasing advisor, and you're the guy that runs PKA Plays.
Okay, all right. Far Cry 3.
Got it.
Gary's Mod.
Got it.
Counter-Strike Source.
Got it.
Let me see. What else did I say? I'm not going to say Dead Island Riptide just yet. Killing Floor.
Killing Floor?
Yeah, Killing Floor. And if you want, Battlefield Bad Company 2. We don't have to do that for PKA Plays. But Chiz, Kyle, and I play a lot of games together, and I thought we were talking about, oh my God, Battlefield Bad Company 2 is so awesome. And, Kyle said he loved it on console. And I said, well, it's really good on PC, too. You could play it there.
I played it on console. I played Battlefield 3 more on PC. That was when I first started playing on PC.
Battlefield 3 on PC is also good. I found this new thing, G2A.com. It's like a weird auction-style game selling thing. Here, I'll link you to it.
GTA 2?
G2A.com.
G2A, okay. I've heard of that.
Yeah, and it's really weird because they've got a bunch of weird prices. Like, for instance, Borderlands 2 Game of the Year is $23.15 right now. And I don't know from whom you're buying that. And just, I don't know, stuff like that. And so I haven't bought anything from it because I'm trying to figure out, I've been trying to research whether it's like actually legit, because Tropico 5 just came out, and Tropico 5 could be something we do for PKA Plays. I think it's got 4-player co-op, and it's more of a long-form strategy thing. And right here, it's $29.15. I don't know how much it is on Steam. Let me see, but I think it's a full-price game on Steam. Oh, come on, type, you bastard. And oh no, it's $29.99 on Steam. Never mind. Okay.
Comparable.
Yeah. All right. I was assuming Tropico 5 was a full price game. So, yeah, lots of good stuff. 5 hours until the flash sales redo, and then the daily deals should be redone tomorrow.
I'm excited about what PKA is becoming. I'm excited that PKA Plays is a thing. I'm excited that PKA Adventures is a thing. The PKA Survival Trip, that's happening. And then of course PKA always happens. I think it's cool to branch out into the other stuff and do more. And like, I know when I watch YouTubers, sometimes it's like you see them in this box, and this is the box that they're in, and you've seen them in that box for so many years or episodes or videos or what have you, and then every so often it's like, hey, here's me outside the box. You're like, whoa, I've never seen him standing before. I've never seen him do a thing before. Look at the world he lives in. Look at, just like, if Philip DeFranco just gave me a house tour, that would be interesting to me, because I've never seen a video of his outside the studio. He's probably done them, but I haven't seen them. And just like, hey, this is where I'm from. This is what my life is actually like. I remember years ago, Sark did a video. I think he, a lot of it was staged, of course, because it actually had footage of him waking up and stuff like that. But it had him driving to work. It had him like existing at the office. It had like camera angles and views that gave you a vibe for what the machinima offices look like. It was really interesting just to see Sark outside of the normal, like, framed, environment that we normally see him in. And PKA is doing that to the extreme, right? You're going to see us flying in helicopters and surviving in the woods and, playing Payday and stuff like that. So, I'm psyched about all the other stuff.
Yeah, we're branching out, taking over the world. Big thing that we got going on here. Woody actually tried filming. I thought of you. It was weird. I was looking at my camera thinking of you. I found how to make my camera shoot in a flat setting.
Oh.
And then I looked up color correction stuff and like how to, like, a cinematic view versus this kind of stuff and color splits, and I can't tell if it's really that different, but I can tell that I can do a lot more. I can make it look how I want the shot look more. The colors are more flat, but apparently that just means there's more information that's taken in by the camera.
That's exactly right. Like in a normal, like If you capture it as attractive already and the colors are vibrant and stuff, then there's not much you can do to alter those. There's only a little bit of wiggle room. But if you capture a wider range of stuff and sort of squish it into a flat image, it makes everything look a little pale. But to people who are good at color correction, they can bring that out and make the grass greener and the sky bluer. Or if you look, like almost every Western has kind of a yellow haze across everything. And you can make it look like a Western. You can make it look like Star Trek. You can make it look like anything if you capture it flat. A lot of stuff I use now, I capture it not so flat in the DSLR, and it just looks good straight out of the camera. But I do sometimes capture it flat, and my problem is I suck at color correction. And I've tried, and I feel like there's a certain art to it, and it might just be like so many other things that involve art where I really, really appreciate it and love it and have a value to it, but I'm not that good at doing it myself.
Would you like me to make you another tutorial video like last time?
What's this tutorial video?
You made me a tutorial on color correction.
Remember when we were comparing?
Oh my god, I remember that. This was great.
Woody and I were looking at our gaming videos and we were comparing our quality.
I want to tell the story. And Kyle's saying he has the best quality on YouTube, and I'm like, fuck no, I have the best quality on YouTube. And if you go back in the day, really, we were like light years ahead of everyone else. I think one of the reasons my channel did so well is because I focused on audio and video quality on a level that other people didn't. I had HD when not everybody did. And I was the first people to buy like first person to buy like pro quality mics and interfaces and stuff like that and step up my game, whereas other people were just using snowballs and bullshit like that. So Kyle was like, my videos look good, and I'm like, no, dude, my videos look good. And then we started.
And we link each other to each of our videos, and I'm watching his, and he's looking at mine, and we're still going like, no, mine's better.
It's a close call though, because like it wasn't until we started debating who was better that I started to appreciate, like, oh, look at this. Kyle's actually on my level with regards to, how good looking his video is. Like his rival's mine. And
I how did it go from there? Go ahead.
At one point, I gave him the hookup. I'm like, all right, Kyle, I'm going to give you the keys to the kingdom. Check out this video.
And he links me to this video, and I start watching. And it starts out, and it's this guy, and I remember, I think it was Call of Duty 4 on Bog, and the guy says, hey guys, what's going on? My name's Kyle, and I'm going to show you how to fix your render settings.
I linked him to his own video.
I've been watching my tutorial on how
that's me.
I had made a tutorial about render settings, and he's going through my tutorial saying that his quality is better than mine.
It was at least as good.
We're using the exact same fucking settings because I invented them.
Yeah, and over time I varied from that, and especially when I went to Premiere, I felt like there was a jump again. I feel like my Black Ops 2 videos were as good as anybody in the world, but the thing is, by Black Ops 2, it just wasn't as rare to have good-looking videos, right? Like Black Ops 1, for example, a lot of people still had like stupid ghosting because they didn't know how to freaking match render settings to capture settings, or at the very least disable resampling.
Oh, disable resample.
Now
right?
I throw CNanners in there as well. CNanners got that black magic right out of the gate. He always had great quality too.
Yeah, but
I don't know about his render settings though. I felt like they weren't as good as ours.
I don't know.
I felt like we did more with what we had.
But I feel like it's arrogant to say this, but dude, my videos were just, it was like top 5%. I'm not saying no one else was as good, but I think nobody else was better. And that went for video and for audio and the color correction and everything. And by the time like Black Ops 2 rolled around, I think it's still true to say that like nobody's was better, at least in the console world. Of course, you can't compete with the PC guys. But while nobody's was better, there were a lot of people who were as good. It didn't stand out like it once did.
I remember in the Modern Warfare 2 days, or at least because I started right around Black Ops 1 in YouTube, at watching and then trying to get into YouTube, and going back to watch Modern Warfare 2, because there were those people that was like, I'm done with Black Ops, I'm going back to Modern Warfare 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember, like, if I watch your Modern Warfare 2 video, and there's that haze over it, and you didn't even touch brightness and contrast, much less color saturation or
sharpness,
anything like that. Yeah, if you did not touch brightness and contrast to get rid of that haze, you were either that was like a quick one-off video, or if all of your stuff was like that. I was like, oh man, throw some contrast on that, man.
Yeah, I had the way that I got good at it was in the beginning I had a shitty capture card. I of course started with the Dazzle like so many, and that was just shit. And then instead of getting the Hop-Hog, I decided to save 100. The Hop-Hog was 300 at the time, and for like 175 you could get a Hava HD, which was a wireless capture card, which appealed to me because I didn't want all the wires. And it recorded using your home's Wi-Fi signal. So if the Wi-Fi signal was strong, you got some very close to Hop-Hog quality, but if it was poor, you got shitty quality. And I didn't understand that at the time, so I was watching so many tutorials, and I was just learning every day. I'd watch hours of them, and I'd watch them with my laptop in my lap, copying and saving these things and adding and compiling them together, combining what 15 different people had learned about different aspects of video editing into one, and taking the best parts of what everybody had learned, and that's where that whole tutorial had come from.
Yeah,
and Woody didn't even realize he was watching it.
No,
hilarious.
Yeah, I thought I was giving Kyle the hookup though. I was like, all right, I'll share my secret. I got it from this video.
That was hilarious. I love that.
Yeah, that's still a Kyle victory. This is my video. It's what?
It was such a like when I saw that it was mine, I didn't know what to do with this knowledge. It was like one of those things where it's like, got him. I'm beating him in this argument so well. Where do I go?
See, I still
I've
don't think
got
of it
him.
as a
I've got
Kyle
him
win.
so well.
That clearly to me was a tie. We had the same settings.
Oh my god. Okay, on the sure on the settings, but in the argument's sake, it was like, actually, I wrote the book on that. You're reading my manual, sir.
Yeah, he was like, "This is my video." Like it was like, yeah, it was good. It was good. But
so yeah, there should be plenty of PK plays to come. Lots of stuff, especially with the Steam Summer Sale. And there's a thread on the PK subreddit. If you see something, what is it? Hold on a sec. There's a great resource that I use. I think it's called It's called Co-Optimist. Co-Optimist.com is a great resource that I've used to go try to find games that have 4-player co-op or multiplayer. And there's a thread on the PK subreddit. So if you see a game that's on sale or you think would make a really good or cool PKA plays, head on over to reddit.com/r/PKA, find that thread, and post in there, and I'll take a look at it and get it out to the guys as we want.
Nice.
You guys about ready to call it?
Not good. I think did we break 3 hours yet?
Yeah.
Just under. We're 9 minutes.
Okay, we got 9 more minutes.
Yeah, we gotta break 3 hours.
What do we do about the 14-year-old who stabbed the bully outside his school?
What did he stab him with?
A knife, like many times.
He was. Let me see this thing. Let me make sure I've got my facts right.
It was, as you read, I'll try to relay what I remember. Habitual bullying situation. Apparently physical violence a few times, taunting, and in this specific instance, there was a punch to the face and a knee to the face on the bully's part, and the kid,
bullied, beaten, and robbed. Just you left out robbed.
Oh, it was the bully was robbed?
No, the bully often stole things from the victim.
Robbed, right. Okay, robbed. And then in this specific instance, the bully E, the one who was getting bullied, ran away, and I think the bully was following him. This was the crappy CGI on the website that had the story. And in some way, somehow the kid got a hold of a knife and started stabbing the bully. There was a
So the guy that was being bullied once attempted to hang himself in the closet with a rope, but he was stopped by his father. And his father brought him back to school the next morning, even as he recovered from his suicide attempt.
That's bad parenting right there.
I don't like bullies, and I support stabbing bullies.
The way this reads, Crump, the bully, was waiting outside school to confront the boy. This is the way it reads. It's the day after his suicide attempt, but it doesn't say that explicitly. Mm-hmm. And he fought back by stabbing him 3 times near the school. He sustained.
Now I don't know in what, like, was the kid running away and then found a knife, or did he have the knife on him and then the bully punched him, kneed him to the face, and the kid produced the knife and proceeded to stab the bully?
He most likely the second.
It didn't.
And-
It doesn't lay that out. He stabbed him multiple times in the stomach, and the bully was pronounced dead at the hospital. And the bully E is on murder charges. I think the, so before I had the facts on this thing, I was like, I don't know, getting bullied doesn't give you like a carte blanche license to kill someone, but
You know what I'd charge him with? Concealed weapon.
In New York, that might happen.
And that would be it. I'd charge him with concealed weapon or like weapon on school grounds, something like that.
Exactly. If it's self-defense, which it clearly was, then I think concealed weapon is good. I think that guy should have to wash at least 6 police cars.
Yeah, at least. Maybe 7.
I mean, we got to stop somewhere.
I don't like fucking bullies. And you know what? My favorite Reddit right now is called Justice Porn. And it's mostly bullies getting the tables turned on them, robbers getting guns turned back around on them, that sort of thing. Bad guys doing bad things, and they fucked with the wrong person today. I like that a lot.
I like it.
I'm all for accountability, but
being bullied is a terrifying thing. It ruins your whole day. You're there to learn. You're supposed to be there to, and these guys who are getting bullied are already having a hard enough time. But when they've got the fear, and you know how it is, there's no way you can go to a teacher. You can't. You probably don't have a friend group to like.
There's no one there who's with you
you
24/7. Will a teacher protect you? Sure, until you leave the classroom. Can a parent protect you? Sure, while you're at home, but only you are with you all day and all night, and it's hopeless. I've answered so many questions on Mail Monday, but I shy away from the bully one because there aren't a lot of good solutions. I feel like I'm supposed to have an answer to this question, and I really don't. There are a couple that kind of work. Okay, here's some that don't work, and I freaking hate it when people say it. Beat up your bully. Motherfucker, I wouldn't be asking for help if I could beat up my bully. That's not an option. Let's assume that the reason this bully's picking on me is because there's a physical mismatch.
Yep.
At best, you could join the wrestling team and 2 years later beat up your bully. At best, right? Maybe never. Maybe you'll never be so skilled that you can overcome the physical difference that God gave you to, right? So you're not beating up your bully. If that was a choice, you'd have fucking thought of that on your own, right? So let's put that one aside. Tell a teacher, tell a parent. This is freaking good advice into about middle school, right? Up to about middle school, you could reasonably expect like a parent or a teacher or whatever to put the fear of God into this 5th grader that's picking on you, and that's okay. But if you two are 17 and this guy's a bully,
or if you're 16 and he's 18, you're in high school.
Sure.
That's I had a guy. When I was in high school, I was 15, I was going after a girl who had an 18-year-old boyfriend. That guy bullied the fuck out of me, threatened me, threatened my life. Dude was a grown man with a beard, and I'm still a boy. And there's nothing I can do there.
Why didn't you beat him up, Kyle? Because you fucking couldn't.
Because it would have taken a wrench, and that was, and I had that in my head. I was like, when I was in construction and stuff, I'd carry a fucking hammer or a wrench around, and my thought process even then was, you better not fuck with me while I'm carrying the wrench. Or he's getting the wrench. Today might be the day where you get the wrench, buddy. And, there's no way I can tell him because that's not how it works. You can't be like, dude, you fuck with me, you might get a wrench. No, that's not what you do. You wait till he fucks with you again and you give him the wrench. And I was like, what's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to send me to alternative school for 6 weeks. He won't fuck with me when I get back after I wrench his teeth out. That's all I was going to be able to do. That never happened because I didn't have a wrench handy.
A lot of times the scenarios you play out in a fight in your head are hard to execute in real life.
I don't know, man. I felt like I could handle a wrench pretty well, even as a 15-year-old.
Maybe you could. I don't know. I'll tell you what, if a 15-year-old comes at me with a wrench, I like my odds. I think I can somehow deflect or make it through that first blow, and then the mismatch is just unfair.
Just wait until the arm swings the other way when they miss with the first swing.
Well, do it to you. Lefty, you're 6'4". You're a grown man. You're a big guy. If a 15-year-old comes at with you with a wrench, can you take care of that?
I'm going to say, listen, son, what's your problem? Why are you attacking me? You're just angry with the world. I'm not the world.
Oh my God, Lefty.
I'm going to beat the fuck out of that 15-year-old.
You will.
I remember.
And I'm going to enjoy it. I might actually give him a couple extra shots when he's on the ground. Think you can fuck with me, little motherfucker?
But let me go through a couple more of my You're allowed to beat up the guy, your bully. That doesn't take you anywhere. Telling a parent, that doesn't really take you anywhere. Things that do kind of work, travel in packs, right? You know, you can make a decision that, like, you're just around your friends a little more often, right? Make the bully, if he's walking into a 1v5, he probably doesn't pick that time to bully you, right? He probably sees you and says, another day, right? That kind of works. You can avoid the areas where you know you bump into him, right? You know if your locker's near his and you always see each other between 5th and 6th period, get that book at 4th period, you know, and just skip a locker. That'll help. You hate to have to alter what you're doing to stay away from a bully, but if you have to walk an extra block or change the sequence in which you visit your locker at school, then you can do that. But there aren't a lot of really smooth answers to just, like, do your bullying. You know, what, are you going to outwit him? No. He's not beating you in a battle of wits in the first place. That doesn't get you anywhere.
You need an A-team-like scenario where you get ready and you get him convicted of a crime and you win.
You know, bullies are good at what they do. And, you know, circling back to this kid who finally had enough and brought a knife with him, I mean, certainly I'm not advising you guys watching this to do that. But for him, his situation, this guy freaking tried to kill himself. I think that the day before, the bully pushed it too far.
I want to know more about the incident. I want to know about, was it like I'm punching you, I'm hitting you, and you have a knife and you stab me in very clear self-defense, or am I running away, I realize I have a knife, and I stab you, or do I run away and then I just get a knife and I come find you or wait until I see you again, the bully, and then I stab you a lot. The stabbing, even on the waiting and I see you again and I stab you, that's justified in a way, and I wouldn't say you should be charged. That's not a defective human like the 14-year-olds that lured their friend into the woods to stab. This isn't that. And I wouldn't advocate charging him as adult and trying to put them away for life in prison.
Were they 14 or 12? I think they might have been 12.
12.
Really 12? Yeah. They're not they're not defective like that. But
no. This guy's only problem is that some asshole exists in his world.
Right. But if it's
not anymore.
yeah. Fix that.
I don't know if it wasn't an immediate self-defense though. I think, well, you were bullied and you handled it.
Everything up to stand your ground, right? You know, like if he had, so in North Carolina, for example, unless you were in your house or like in your place of business, I think those were the two. Now it's different castle doctrine.
Probably your car as well.
You might be right. I'm not positive. It's out of date anyway. Unless you were in those places, you had a obligation to retreat, right? You know, so for example, if the two of us are outside the car and I'm pumping gas and you like whatever, you're 50 feet away and you have a knife and I could just walk away and avoid the problem, then I have to. Stand your ground means, motherfucker, you can't push me. You can't. It doesn't matter if I'm standing on the sidewalk 10 blocks from my house. If you come at me, I have a right to defend myself. And that's how I feel about this guy with the knife. You know, if he came at him, he has the right to defend himself. Now, if he pursued him, if he said, "You got me yesterday, and my revenge is coming," that's where I draw the
different.
line.
Yeah, that's different. If the bullied child hunted his bully down and murdered him, that's a thing. But that's not what it sounds like. It sounds like he was like, you know what? I can't fight this guy off. I bet his dad was telling him, you know, fight this guy off. Do whatever you got to do. You know, get mean, get dirty. I know my dad told me that. He's like, do whatever you got to do. Fucking gouge eyes, scream at him, make him think you're crazy, hit him with something. I don't care. He's like, don't you fucking back down. I was like, all right, here we go, wrench time. So you know, I could see something like that. You know, his dad putting that into him after he catches him trying to hang himself. You know, nothing's worse than killing yourself, son. You know, do what you got to do to protect yourself. All right, let me go grab some I'm gonna go grab one of these kitchen knives out of here, and Damien's gonna have a bad fucking day tomorrow if he tries to push me around.
Is that a real name?
No.
No.
Kyle's conjuring up all kinds of things.
Oh, I hate that cocksucker.
But what does that say about the parent too? You find your child or your stepchild, whatever the relationship was, trying to kill themselves, and you send them to school the next day.
Yeah.
Don't you have some sort of investigation process whereby you figure out, hey, why'd you try to kill yourself just now? Oh, it was this bully at school.
What the dad should have done is he should have went and beat the shit out of the bully, and he should have took the charge. He should have went out there with his son and like grabbed the bully, slapped him around till he's crying, and then held his hands behind his back and let the son kick the shit out of him. That's what a good parent does. Go ahead.
Maybe 101 by Kyle.
Maybe brought a bike chain too. Maybe
whatever it takes. Go get medieval on his ass. Whatever. A pair of pliers and a blowtorch. Go Marcellus Wallace with it. I don't care.
Or one of those mercury-filled like batons.
Mm-hmm. I got one.
Really
very effective.
Yeah.
Maglite time. Go Wings of Redemption on 'em. Whatever you've got to do. But at some point you've been pushed too far. You've been pushed too long, and enough is enough. You can't take it anymore, or you're not a human being anymore. You're a kick dog.
We've all seen WWJD, right? What would Jesus do?
Mm-hmm.
The question is WWJLD. What would Joe Lozon do? Motherfucker needs a beating, I think.
Yeah.
I wonder what it's like to be Joe Lozon. Like, I could kick the shit out of you so hard.
He doesn't
right now.
do it. He doesn't do it. He's been in situations where, like, I don't know, like a girlfriend. This is a friend who happens to be a female. Like, got into a nightclub situation and people were like, it got violent, and he just takes the girl, leaves. He like gets cut off. I think to answer it, and I've asked him about this more than once. What's it like to be Joe Lozon? Enough self-confidence that you don't ever prove anything. Right? The guy's a professional fighter. He knows the score before the game started.
And he also knows what he has to lose.
Right, that's true too. But I don't think that's the thought process. I think the thought process is actually, I have nothing to prove. I've got this on such lockdown that, oh, did you cut me off in traffic? We all know I could have taken care of that. I don't have to.
And Joe's told us stories about, I won't get too personal, but that other guy that he knows very well, who somebody fucks with him, he ruins their day, and then their buddy's day, and their other buddy's day. Remember when we were walking in the park and he was telling us the story about the fight?
Oh, yes. And that guy, runs into trouble because of that.
Yeah, I got in some trouble because of that.
Yeah. Joe, on the other hand, doesn't get in that kind of trouble. And there's a certain kind of self-confidence, a swagger that Joe has, because that's all he needs. So maybe the WWJLD thing isn't quite the beat up children thing you wanted to be.
More like, what would Michael Myers do?
Yeah, dude, I'm with the bullied on this one. I feel
based on what we have, based on the information we have,
based on what we have here, it sounds like he was fully right to stand his ground and just, stop fucking with him. You asked for it.
Right. All right, we're about 3 hours in. Do we want to call it there?
I think so.
All right. It's been Painkiller
Sure,
already.
PKA
185. Hey,
DollarshaveClub.com/PKA. Go there right now. Click on that link.
Ladies, it's for you too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You gotta do that. Boy.